if they can't cook. Screw it. I found another reason for
Oh,
it.
so the live came on just for that comment. That is
That's awesome.
amazing. I am just over the moon right now about that.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
Oh.
right off the bat,
the course.
Prophet just pissed off like freaking
The one female we have.
viewers.
Hold on. Before we go any farther. Okay.
All right,
You've
so
all
there we
been
go.
warned.
The disclaimer is up. All right. With that, it's Tuesday night, Toke here on Caribou Heart TV, everyone. I believe episode number 84. And we've got one stellar kick-ass guest. I feel like from straight off the Future Cannabis Project, we got Chad Westport. And I feel like you are the one guest that we've had so far is like well above our pay grade, because you guys talk about way fucking smarter shit than anything that ever gets mentioned on this show. But man, it's so cool to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. How you doing? What you smoking on tonight?
Doing excellent, man, and thank you for having me. And we're all game. We're all in it together. Right now, I'm smoking on some Skunk #1. So I'm about to load that up and start getting down.
That sounds badass. Indeed.
I love a skunk.
Yeah.
Skunk
It's funny. We actually just ran over a dead one on the way out to site today, and it made me wonder. This topic got brought up on at least one previous episode. Is I personally have never smelt that smell in weed. Or anything that made me think of that. So it's just kind of an interesting thing. But you know, yeah, it is interesting. But anyways, as I was saying in the pre-show, I gotta run real quick here, pick up the girlfriend. I'll be right back in 15-20 minutes. So we're gonna do some more intros, go through the panel, let everyone else know what they're smoking on, because that's always a good time. Maybe do a couple dabs. And then we'll get into the good stuff with you, Chad. And with that, Prophet, quit touching yourself. What are you smoking on? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm still smoking on for my harvest, which is, the devil lettuce 818 and the the coffee, and hitting up that wedding cake shatter until I get through that and then move on to the next. But yep, that's pretty much about it. Do you want me to go in my order? So I guess to my right, I should be like, hey, Fluff, or are you still running the show?
I know you're in charge. I just handed the controls off to you. I am now a civilian, I guess you could say. But like I said, I'll be back. You guys have fun, do some dabs. And if I'm in the car waiting for the girlfriend, I'll be in the chat. You know it. So see you guys in a bit.
Nice. See ya. All right, man. Fluff, you're up.
Oh, that's me. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So we're just hanging out, kicking it, having a good time. We've already been having a great time with Mr. Westport here. And I'm smoking on some, I got a little bit of Hawaiian and a little bit of that stuff I call vape shop. I made a little something out of that, vaping it out of my one of my vapes and having a good time. Can't wait to hear like the shit that confuses me, because this man is so far above our level and I love it. So with that said,
they're blowing so much
wow.
smoke.
Damn, dude.
Really have
you got enough room to be able to talk after jamming that tongue up his ass? Christ.
Man, I'm gonna
How did it taste?
All about it.
Yeah.
All about it.
Chad, how wet's your rectum right now, buddy? And what you smoking on?
I've been eating healthier, so that's a bonus.
Hey, Fluff, you like organic. You like organic.
That. Oh, I'm that organic guy, man. I'm all about that. And Prophet, you should pay attention to the show for like a half a second. He already told you what he's smoking.
Yeah.
Well, I was giving him a double shot. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Oh, well, me, I'm smoking on some Blueberry Butcher, but I honestly really wanted to ask him about that skunk one. Is it more of a sweet one? Is it more of like the acrid? They generally lean sweet, right?
So
is it roadkill?
No, it's not roadkill. Roadkill is what I wanted. What I wound
Everybody wants.
Yeah, I know. Well, what I wound up getting is a burned tire. So it does have that like acridness. It's not it has like that gas hint to it, but I wouldn't say it's gas. It's the burnt rubber. So I'm happy with it. But again, I didn't get what I wanted, but who knows?
The search continues.
Yeah. A lot of them are sweet though. A lot of the skunk number ones, like the Sensi seed skunk number one, that tends to be pretty sweet. The island sweet skunks, obviously, but there's a few skunk number ones out there, and this one's the burnt rubber.
I'd still smoke it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, I think I'm partial to the burnt rubber one, man. I really enjoy that.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, if you throw in a little of that old pine with that burnt rubber, then you're really talking my talk.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd love to get more pine involved. It seems to have like almost faded. It's out there. You can get it in some pine tar kush, some of that like 79 Christmas bud. It's out there, but you got to find it. That's the key.
Yeah, that's what I want. That 79 Christmas bud. So good. So piney, bro. So piney.
Yeah, like I'll let you guys keep going around the circle, but that pine tar kush is probably one of the highest moments I've been, and I'll tell you about it when we're done. But holy shit.
Yes, I have, man. ADP, what you choking down your throat?
Besides you, I got some of let's see, I got Caribou's meathead cross that's I'm smoking on tonight. I got his mango cross, super silver haze. I smoke tested the other days. It was phenomenal. I was loving that. And then I got some what do I got? I got some crumble tonight. Spike punch crumble. Digging that. That was nice. There's a nice buzz behind it. I'm here to listen to the old Mr. Chad Westport over here tonight. Pretty stoked about that. When I found out about that, I totally fanboyed. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
how does Caribou's meat taste?
How does it taste?
Yeah.
If I grew it better, it tastes probably phenomenal. No, but I did super try one of them.
At least you're modest.
Yeah. No, it actually is phenomenal. I love it. People that have been smoking on it as well have been loving it. And Stoney, I believe, actually wants to run some of the mangoes. I think Caribou sent him some down. He was really impressed with that terp profile. And yeah, it's phenomenal. I love it. I can't wait to run. I want to do eventually a little pheno hunt for that slurricane cross he had. That was one of my favorites. And I just unfortunately lost the one little re-veg I had going on. Gotta love my cats. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. But I'm gonna shut up now and let other people talk and shit.
Yeah, bro. Hey, no worries, bro. We all know that we all grow the mids there is.
Hell yeah.
Mids in the Midwest.
Dude, I told some Gandalf I grow the best garbage out over in this area. I don't give a fuck. Oh, fucking right. Johnny, you're up to bat, buddy. What you got going on? You're on mute.
Johnny ain't ready for this.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know it was up.
You got faith though, Johnny?
I'm just weighing up shit and taste testing. I'm smoking on some. I tried some of that meathead. We had some taster buds of it. It's got a nice taste to it. I can't wait till that's done. That Doctor Who, I can't smoke no more of that today, man. It put me to sleep twice today.
I want that.
Other than that, I'm doing good. Hope everybody out in chat's doing good. What y'all smoking on out there? In chat, they told me.
Oh, yeah.
How the chat tell me, fucking dumbass. But anyway, good to see y'all.
Dritz, you're up.
What's going on, Prophet? Tonight we're smoking on some Chango terpene titties covered with some dragon fruit live diamonds.
You did say titties, right?
I'm sorry?
You did say titties, right?
I did say titties, yeah.
I didn't even know that existed. Well then.
That did, and that's a gassy son of a bitch there.
Yeah. Blazing Asian took that down.
I'll tell you what, I really like that. Yeah, I really liked it. His style of breeding, man, that stuff is, he puts out some gas and it's good.
Gotta love that gas.
Nice. Is that it? Is that all you're blazing on there, Dritz?
Yeah.
That's all I'm blazing on right now. I mean, I still got Shredder and I still got White Widow, but this is what I've been blazing on tonight.
Right on. What about you, Uncle Rick? What you got?
Is this thing on?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so far so good. Great to see everybody. Working on start off with some super silver haze. Really excited about that. And later on, I'm going to get into some live resin. I picked up a couple of carb caps today, and so I just got to give them a quality control check here and see if they're all working. And pleasure to meet you, Chad, and looking forward to learning more about you. And I'll kick it on down the line.
Indica, good to see you, man. How is everything going? What you're smoking on? And you want to do your introduction since we only get you every now and then. And then we will be flaming Chad as hard as we can.
What's going on, everybody? I miss you all, man. Finally here. Been busy as all hell with the greenhouse and downstairs. Ton of shit going on. Working a new job too, just to get some extra cash. So when we decide to leave the state, we can go. And smoking on some chocolate OG tonight. That's about it, guys. I'm just beat, man. I'm swamped, but I'm pumped to be here with you all. I missed you. Everybody in chat, I just want to say what's up. And real quick, I just want to say thank you to all you guys and everybody, man, for all your love and support. I don't think I'd be where I am without any of you to drive me and push me. And thank you for all the love, guys. Appreciate it.
Dude, we got your back.
Go hit that like button, guys. If you're enjoying the show. And we got Chad Westport, man. It's a fucking honor, bro. Just like DP said, man, I seen that tonight too, and I was like a little kid, man. Like I respect you a lot, brother. I love your work, man, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say. So cheers, everybody.
Good, man. Thank you. And it's dude, it's nice to be here and to join with all of you guys, because it's like either I've been watching you on the screen or I've been participating with you in chat. So it's all, it's already like familiar friends. It's a really good cannabis community. There's always going to be subsectors, but there's also like the awesome corner, and we all like pretty much reside in that awesome corner. So I enjoy it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I like to hear the fact that he just said we get to be in the awesome corner. Yay!
I'm usually in the other corner.
People get told that
or against a wall.
They used
I'm in the
to
bad corner.
Yeah.
It used to be the bad corner until we discovered weed. Now we're just the awesome corner.
That's pretty cool. Off the dunce cap comes off, and we go to the other corner where the milk is, bitch.
You ever notice the dunce cap was wrapped like a joint?
Yeah, almost a big old cone at least.
Like a cone.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where they got the idea for the cones.
Oh, maybe.
Now we're hanging with all the cool kids, right?
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, man, everybody in the chat, let's do the top chat live chat thing, man. Get your best chatting experience. So,
Thanks for that, man.
Things.
I need a reminder.
I was in top chat. Guilty.
Me too. I'm always in it.
Over here.
I'm not here though.
See, I mean, what would you all do without the top chat live chat guy?
Without you, Fluffernutter?
You would not have a good viewing experience. That's what would happen.
I'd have to rely on her. One. It'd be more of a long distance relationship and a lot more traveling. So, Chad, how do you want us to come at you, man? You want some lube? You want it raw? What's up?
Just spit on me, man.
All right.
Hey, let's get that Pine Tar Kush story, man.
Right.
Let's get that.
Yeah. You can start off with that. There you go.
Pine Tar Kush. So Vancouver, BC, that place has had legal cafes for like a long time, over 20 years. I was in my late teens going up there to the Bulldog Cafe. It was across the street from like the Cannabis Culture, Mark Emery. And I go in there and sit down at the like smoking restaurant. They put an ashtray down and they just say, "No cigarette smoking, please." And so I was in love with that place ever since. And every time I go to Vancouver, like the only map I have to Canada is a straight line down Hastings Street right down to where to get your where to get your smoke in Vancouver. But I was up there for a UFC event. One of my buddies works for them. And so we're at the event. We go back to his hotel, drop some things off. He's got a gig later that night, and we're going to go to the cannabis cafe before his gig. And so we go down, and you couldn't get your weed there. You had to go up the street, and there's this shit or this stuff just called pine tar kush. I'm like, okay, kush, whatever, sounds good. Dude, like we go down into the cafe, and it's, if you sit at the bar, you pay like $5 to sit at the bar for an hour. We rented the volcano, you can rent your pipes, bongs, whatever. I think that's kind of cool. But dude, we just like powered through this bag of pine tar kush, and our food was coming, so we're like squeezing the bag into our lungs. And then all of a sudden I just like felt all of the color in my skin just whoosh. You ever been so high that like if you move half an inch, you're like, oh, I'm gonna puke. Like,
I'm gonna fall over. Yeah. One of those.
Yeah. You're like, I'm so thirsty that I'm gonna puke.
You're doing deep breaths, really slow, trying not to think about it. Yeah, oh yeah.
When your lungs go from automatic to manual.
I felt like, you know how you always like can pick out the tourists of like, oh, they can't handle their shit. I felt like that person, and I swear we were at the bar longer than an hour, but I think the person working just knew it and was like, okay, they ordered food, they tipped well, these Americans can stay for a little bit. But that was a really, really uncomfortably high moment, and I will never forget pine tar kush. Like, I swear it had to have been laced with something. Like, I don't even know. How does that happen to you?
Hey, man, the only time I find anything that's even comparable to that, that high that we all wanted, that high school fucking high that we all chase. The only time I ever find that is with pine. So for me, there's something there that it's the pine, man. Love it.
Yeah. I like pine terps. I don't see them very often. Like, I actually have a couple beans right now. There's one, it's a Topanga Pines that I'm going to pop. That's supposed to have some pine to it. But really, my go-to when people say I need something pine or want something pine is usually Blue Dream. The Blue Dream out here has a pretty good like pine profile to it. And that's really what sticks out.
Yeah, I've kind of heard that, and honestly, I mean, it's just I haven't really found anybody getting off any Blue Dream lately. Everybody kind of gets made fun of when you talk about the Blue Dream. I was like, man, fuck y'all, I want that stuff, man. Get me some.
It's a banger for years.
And it produces too. I mean, there's no real downside to that plant.
No, it grows great. It has good buds. And you probably saw me cringe when I mentioned Blue Dream. I'm like, what's the reaction? But it's so true. My old boss at the dispensary kind of used to make fun of me. It's like, I like Blue Dream, I like Gorilla Glue 4, and I'll order a cheese pizza. And she's like, you know what? I don't have a problem with any of them, but I'm not going to order them myself. So I'm just basic.
There you go. Yeah, that's
it worked for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all remember it, man. We all dug it and sought after it, and it was a good thing for everybody for a long time. And then they just overproduced it. That's all. And it's easy to do with a plant that grows so freaking well.
It was one of my first grows.
There's definitely a reason why it was everywhere, because like you said, it was so successful and just easy to grow. Like average Joe, starting up could knock it out of the park with some Blue Dream.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not one of those, finicky asshole strains.
No. And that's good too. Again, like I don't know how many Blue Dream seeds or seed companies are out there now, but if you do find like a good one, that's a great bean to start with. You can also grow it in all kinds of like climates too. It's like you said, it's not the picky one in the room.
No, I wouldn't say, like in my experience with any I had, that it was especially tolerant to anything. It could have been a little finicky that way. So outdoors, I could see somebody running into some problems, but the indoor grow, man, that thing was just champ.
Yeah. I unfortunately block, like I always fail to consider outdoor grows because it's something that I really want to do, but I've never lived in the climate for, so I haven't done it. But yeah, absolutely right. I always forget. Oh yeah, outdoor.
Yeah, I only, I've got one. It's my sneaky little outdoor in my vegetable garden special. But dude, PM is so raw this year. I mean, and my garden is just smacked with PM. I've never ever had that problem. And just everything has it now. So I got a long fight ahead of me for the summer because I don't see that going away anytime soon.
No, we always see the PM around here in the fall, so you can deal with it then. But yeah, if you're dealing with it already, man, good luck.
Yeah,
That's rough.
I'm to the point where I was thinking about just watering, like sprinkling with city water, just so the chlorine literally washes over it. To do everything we don't want to do to try to just get rid of that shit.
Right.
All right.
See, you yelled at me when I started talking about crazy ideas like that, We don't want to kill the plant profit.
Everyone. Go ahead, Driz.
Dab time.
That's what I was looking for.
Hey, can you pull up Stoney's song?
Hey guys, hold on here. So this dab video right here is going to be for Papa Z. He was supposed to be on the show last week, I think it was, and shit happens in life. He couldn't make it. I believe he's watching tonight, and he might be having a little fungus fun, you might be able to say. So Papa Z, brother, this dab's for you. And I was talking to him earlier, and he says he will be able to make it on the show for next Tuesday. So that's why we're doing the celebratory dab, because he will be here. Can't wait to meet you, brother. Anyway, Prophet, go ahead, brother.
Oh, on top of that, maybe we should do a dedication show to Bees and wish him luck on everything he's going through as well. We're always thinking about you, buddy. But yeah, my question was, can you run the fucking Stony song while we do our dabs, or is that possible?
We didn't have a Stony dab song.
Ah, shit. All right.
We have what we've got is the Wake and Bake song that I made a video for, but this
save
is
that for Sunday. Yeah.
And trust me, I want to be able to preview it, but it's just like, no, I want to wait for the Wake and Bake.
Yeah. All right.
Kind of chronic. If you guys are watching it, it's absolutely no disrespect. We just want to do that right. Now, what I do have in my possession is an actual song that is going to be the Caribou Heart TV theme song, and it's fucking awesome. I can promise you that. I just I got it. I need to be what I want to do is put a video to it with it before we debut it. Is my rambly ass way of what I'm getting at, I guess you'd say.
A shitload of teasing going on. That's all I'm seeing. Okay.
I was just trying to kill dead time when everybody dabs with their flames. But if nobody's got a flamethrower going, then feel free to just ramble on. Ask Chad a question, something difficult. Otherwise, I'm gonna
tell us a little bit about your show, man. And everything you do.
Oh, see, you stole my question, you bastard.
You're out there and you put out great information for everybody. So let's talk a little bit about your show.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's that's just kind of the goal. Is there's a lot of cannabis content out there. There's a lot of good information. There's a lot of really sciencey stuff, and I love the sciencey stuff. Like I actually went to school for it. I geek out on the white papers in my off time. But for somebody who's just starting to grow cannabis or who's getting their feet, like getting a solid standing of it, it doesn't really help to overload or to go like super micromanage on things. I have the personal growth, and I also have commercial growth. And I always say a lot of these things, a lot of the sciencey things, it's meant to maybe get a couple more grams per plant. And to me at home in a tent, that doesn't make a big deal. But when you have an acre or more and you can get just 1 gram more per plant, that's why a lot of these studies exist. That's why you hear a lot of these, just like, they're more than theories, but I'll call them theories on just like different things to do to the plant. It's because you're trying to get that like fine-tuned race car. So I'm into that stuff, but
yeah, absolutely. I mean, like someone like me, I love playing with the soil. I love making my own shit. I do my research, I figure it out. So I tailor it to myself. So, when you guys get into that stuff, it's really interesting to me and I can hold on to it. And then, when you go into some of the white paper stuff, I enjoy it. And then I get to that point where I'm like, right, this is not going to help me, but it's really cool to know. And then, yes. Yeah. And like you said, with that much area, an extra gram, man, that's a lot of weight for somebody.
And a lot of money, especially in a business with not a lot of margin. So, you got to find the way to do that. And that's just kind of commercial farming in general.
So Chad, is there any compromise? Like say you are getting another gram out of that plant. Is there a compromise in the quality of the bud? Is there any sacrifice with?
There can be. It depends really on the approach, because we all know, like, you can just pump it full of food and pump it full of steroids and it's gonna be, maybe a little bit bigger, but it might not have like the same terpene expression. It might not have like the same structure. So there is always kind of a give and a take with that. And it depends, again, what the goal is. Sometimes if it's basically dry weight for sale, you're not too concerned. Some craft cannabis people, that's how they made their name, is off of the profiles. So they're really going to focus in on that type of stuff. If that answers, hopefully that answers the question, but usually is a little bit of a trade-off.
Yeah. So and I don't know, as a Canadian, I don't know too much about the marketplace in the US, but I had to say, you made me take a trip down memory lane when you were talking about Hastings, and that was my stomping grounds in the 60s, for God's sakes, down in Water Street.
Surprised about this? Nobody's surprised about this.
Yeah, no, some fond memories of that era. It was one of a kind. You were there.
Shocked you can remember.
I probably smoked a joint too. You said you were there about 20 years ago?
Yeah, 20 years ago, there was a skateboard contest. Skateboarding is another thing that I've done on my life. I wasn't there to skate. I was there actually reporting on it. But it was called Slam City Jam, and they used to have that in Vancouver every year. And I was up there covering that, and me and my buddy were outside. We were just stoked because we got like our first press passes of our lives. We were up on the ramps with all the skaters while they're doing it. We were just, dude, it was a special memory.
Cool.
But we're sitting outside in their little cafe, and we're breaking it up, or we're rolling a joint, and there's 3 cops across the street, and we had that sweat panic, and then realized it was all cool. And that was an awesome moment. Nice. I still see it. I still see the 3 cops.
Right. Rick, are you doing the math trying to figure out whether or not you could possibly be his father? Because it seemed like you had that, what year was this?
He did kind of have a moment like that.
You did. I saw the math going on in his head. Yeah.
On the map where the year Chad was born.
I saw it, dude. Your brain was calculating numbers. I've seen it.
No. Truth is, every now and then I do go down the odd rabbit hole. Okay, I said it. Okay,
I live in a rabbit hole.
But I'm curious about your cannabis journey, Chad, and also the area that you live in. I was curious there too, because in certain parts of the world, it's a challenge to grow outdoors. But so the area you live in, and where your journey started, and to now.
Yeah, definitely. I lived and grew up in the Pacific Northwest, kind of in the Seattle area, and Pacific Northwest has kind of always had good weed. I may be old, but I really don't know Mexican brickweed. We didn't need it up here.
Party on.
Yeah.
That makes me so sad.
we did have the beasters though. That was the BC bud.
We had those
down.
it was dense nuggets and shit.
In between harvest of all the kind bud down here is that's what would come down, and some of it was better than others. I'd swear it was all like Packlow bud, or grown with
all
Eagle
the top
20.
of it was always known as like the head buds and shit, or the head sack, and like you had to pay extra for the top colas. Like that's how it worked around here anyway. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. It was the beasters, and it'd be some pretty fat sacks, some pretty bad looking ones, but I think that's the closest I got to kind of like swag weed. And I'm not trying to be a dick by just saying that, but it's the Pacific Northwest, so good smoke. And my journey kind of started early. I started early teens. I was that tell me not to do it, and that was a guaranteed I'm going to do it type of kid. Skateboarded all the time, just kind of hung out with that crowd, hung out with the older kids, and just kind of started smoking weed there. Not really overboard, but just every now and then. It was nice, it was fun. And I kept doing it as I kind of got older, and I had, it's just kind of like some stomach issues, some medical issues, even back then, that went to the doctor for numerous times, did all kinds of, not MRIs, but God, you drink the chalk shake and they put you on the table and they see if you got like holes in your stomach and stuff, because it's glows.
CAT scan.
Something. I forget what it is now. It probably actually doesn't exist. They probably have a better technique. But I started recreationally, and I think unbeknown to me, it slipped into medicinal use. And kind of, as an adult, I definitely enjoy my recreational moments. But it's something that I'll say I take daily to help me medicinally. So my journey has kind of been like a lot of people. You just start out not knowing it or just having fun, and then your body, unbeknownst to you, is kind of like, hey, this is the ticket right here.
I agree.
Yeah, I get it for sure. That's how it was for me. Yeah, it was. It wasn't until very recently that I realized the true medicinal value of cannabis. Oh, sorry, my dogs. But before I go to mute, Chad, I'm sure other panel members and our friends in chat. I'm always interested in. You said that you deal with commercial grows as well as your own personal grow, and I'm always curious. It's similar to Spartan. He does the same thing, and but he's got his organic grow at home, and then the commercial grow is quite different. And I'm just wondering how much you can compare the two with your home growing style and the commercial growing style.
Yeah, and there's every company is going to be different. And this is one thing that I've learned through the commercial process. I've kind of learned who I'd like to work for and who I don't want to work for. At home, I'm across, Synganics. I'm a cross between organics and synthetic. I'd love to go fully organic living beds. I do that outside for my vegetables. But I don't have enough space or a plant count inside to do that. So my hand is a little forced into different options. So I try to go synganic, and I try to go light feeding. Commercially, where I've worked, it was just biomass. It was, there's a couple places, but the one that I usually reference, it was the largest indoor in the state at the time. And we had 20 rooms flowering of about 650 plants in each room. And it was cocoa, and we fed that stuff every other day, almost right up into harvest. So I did learn a lot from there. And it's kind of nice to be able to like almost play with other people's plants. Because I saw how hard you can strip a plant. I saw how hard you can go on a plant to where you think it was almost gonna, like, there's no way that's good for this plant. And then because of all the light that they had there, 2 days later, it was the happiest looking plant, like nothing ever happened to it. So it was nice to be able to see that and to push the limits. And to also see how, you know, they did their cocoa and synthetic. Nobody that works there really smokes the cannabis. That's for a variety of different reasons, but I'm not opposed to cocoa or synthetics either. You know, I think a lot of people can produce a lot of good smoke a lot of different ways, and in a blind taste test, a lot of people are probably not going to notice, but there's always a few people that will be able to tell you, oh, you use general hydroponics on this. So yeah, commercially, it was a lot different than home. Home, you just get a baby everything. Commercially, it's, you know, almost by the numbers.
Like, yeah, 20 rooms at like 650 plants. Like, that's, you can't tell me stuff like that. I won't be able to sleep at night just trying to run the math through the head. It's like, you know, like they say, count sheep jumping through the air when you're supposed to sleep as a kid. Like, I'll be picturing like not just pot plants, like rooms, but not just rooms with 650 plants per. I'm like, wow. It's just mind blowing numbers to me. Like, you know, like. Wow,
Speaking of numbers, so could you tell us per light what some of these commercial people are doing? How much?
I don't have numbers. No, I don't know exactly what they were pulling per light. I wasn't on that pay level. I just had to take care of the plants. But I can say it wouldn't surprise me if it's pounds, and it's definitely going to be strain dependent. I saw the most beautiful, best producing plants of my life there. It was hash plants, and I was there to help it get it was the first harvest. So everything was fresh. Everything's just getting established. You know, no bugs, no disease, nothing's happened yet. And every hash plant in that room had at least 5 or 6 colas that no shit was a forearm. Like, you only the things you see in magazine, but it was every plant field of dreams. Like, I'll never forget that. And everybody, I still know a lot of people that work at this place, and you know, I'm always like, so how's that hash plant doing? And it's not the same anymore. But that,
what kind of, are you allowed to tell us what kind of light was being used?
It was HPS. Yeah. So they do a lot of companies, when you do go to work for them, you have to sign a non-compete agreement, which is kind of BS. Those can usually get defeated in court. But you also sign NDAs, which are non-disclosure agreements. So it's one of those situations. It's like, I talk about it. That's why I don't mention the name of the company. I'm totally fine, because NDA really just, if I knew something proprietary, like their secret sauce formula of how they did something, and then I talked about it, that could get me in trouble.
Yeah, naturally.
But no, the lighting, a lot of the things there was pretty basic. It was HPS. This is another thing I learned there. They were, you know, they're like 10 feet off the plants up in the ceiling. And I'm like, how are you getting, you know, good light there? It needs to be down on the canopy, right? But it's so repetitious. I think it was maybe every 3 feet or every 4 feet, they had a new light, and just the diffusion, it makes up for the height. Again, it still kind of blows my mind how commercial facilities have their lights so high up and get such good yields, but it's just because it's the diffusion and the wattage that they're running in there.
I mean, they get the pleasure of pure power. I mean, you know, they're not restricted by like a lighting budget like we would be. So,
no,
you know, yeah, it's easy for them. Just throw more light at it as long as you spread it right. It's all good.
Yeah. Exactly. And you know,
that would have been a while ago. I think most operations are all LED now. Or do you think that there's still some out there using HPS?
I think HPS is still king in the commercial world just because of the cost of entry. I know California is like mandated in a couple of years, everybody has to go to LED. There'll be some government rebates for that. But for this facility to switch to all LED would easily be millions of dollars. Like,
I feel Yeah, and I respect that, but I do believe that it would not take very long for them to pay for themselves in the saving. Well, electricity, a third of
It
the
absolutely
electricity
doesn't. But when you think of cost of entry to get into the cannabis industry, and then add cost of entry to get your, equipment, you got to save money somewhere, and HPS works.
Yeah. And you still
I love
can't
my
get along.
HPS. I mean, I wouldn't mind switching over, but I have the beef with HPS.
Yeah, and I respect that. I'm talking for commercial facilities. Yeah, it may cost millions, but okay. There's the electricity. There's the air conditioning. There's the fact that you can run your room.
Well, when you have high ceilings, the heat stays up higher. So I mean, cooling seems to be a little easier.
And these people are running CO2 as well. So, the extreme heats isn't as big of an issue. They kind of almost encourage it. It's just, I mean, we're all in agreement here, especially, it's like cannabis people are usually green, but this industry is farthest thing from green. But it's the initial cost, because it's still federally illegal. You can't go to a bank and get a loan for this gear. It's upfront cost, and that's the hard part. So if that banking amendment and the 280E, which is the IRS, you can't write anything off. If that were to change, I think a lot of people would switch sooner, because there are incentives. There are government incentives to switch over, but again, you have to have that cash in hand to put on the table.
Yeah. No, you're faced with quite a challenge. Although I wonder sometimes if legalizing federally would be a good thing. I can see obvious benefits, but there's also downsides to it. We're legal in Canada.
Anything legally federalized is controlled federally, so that's the problem.
And that's what I've wondered, how it's worked out in Canada. You guys are ahead of us with the federal acceptance, and you guys have, a lot of the major players on the world stage. I have like a weird stance. I don't know. I'd like to do the craft cannabis, a small thing. I can't in my state because there's only a certain number of licenses available. They were spoken for over 6 or 7 years ago. So there isn't the opportunity for me to get in. Would there be one? I would like to get in on a small craft cannabis scale. And I think for me, or for that type of business to be the most successful, is there's going to have to be the federalization and the Anheuser-Busch's or the big guys, because all the mid-sized people that are the players right now, at least in our state, those are the ones that put the mom and the pops out of business. When it goes federal and the big players come in, they're going to put those mid-size out of business. So you're going to have that vacuum of like big person and what is everything else. And that's where I hope craft cannabis, at least here in the States, can come in and fill that niche, because you're going to have to demand a premium price for it, and you're going to have the product to back it up. So that's kind of what I'd like to see. I don't know if it's worked that way in Canada, if anybody can just do a craft license if they want.
I think it's something that I was talking about, or that I would enjoy. I don't care that, if Budweiser was to get in, all that stuff. I mean, they're going to ruin their own product, and the craft is going to end up winning anyway, because no one, you're always going to sell the cheap shit. And, it's always going to happen. There's a market, let them have it.
Yep.
Craft people are going to be fine, because anybody who wants a decent smoke ain't going to buy their garbage.
Yep. Awesome. Good. Because that totally reinforces, exactly what I'm thinking here. There are the connoisseurs, and there are going to be, working in the store. It's like most people, you're either shopping by THC percentage or your price. That's the majority of shoppers. So there'll always be a market for the cheaper stuff.
Yeah, and I shop for the home grower who's got the fucking fire, who's got flavor, who's got effect, who's got everything. I don't, and I'm going to pay that man a premium for that. Mm-hmm. So, there's room for everybody, man. Just let everybody play.
Yeah, and that's Oregon, the state below me. kind of went that way, and they let everybody play, and then their prices just crashed. But again, that's kind of like the strong will survive, or the people who really have a good product will survive.
I was gonna say my buddy, he moved to Portland, and he can go get any type of cannabis for super cheap, but it's not the craft cannabis. It's not that special, you know what I mean? The stuff that we're trying to produce, and there will, I believe, always be a market for that, like y'all are saying, because it's just, that's what I believe most of us are looking for. We don't want that, right. $60 an eighth Mylar bag coming our way with some fancy name on it. That who the fuck, like that's not what I'm about.
We're in the same boat then. Yeah, no, I agree with you there. It is. We've all at this point have smoked plenty of cannabis in our life. We don't need something that's just cannabis. We want something that's special, or something to, give us that O face, something.
Yeah, and like Chat was discussing, Budweiser is like already getting in the game, and they're gonna. I think it's Spartan saying, they're gonna start making a drink with this shit. Well, you know what? Grow a bunch of trash for Budweiser to making a drink. It's perfect. They can take all the crap. It's easy, because they don't need it to be good. They're not searching for anything, so all the good shit can stay. Give all those big guys the fucking garbage. Let them grow the garbage.
Yep, I couldn't agree more with that statement, Fluff. There's plenty of room for everybody to play, and all the big market type people, they'll continue to put out the garbage. The guys guys and gals like us that are, continue to just put the love into the small numbers. It's always been an underground market. That's where it will rule, and it'll always be.
So you guys obviously in Canada have Amazon there. Amazon came out with their statement recently saying, we're not going to test for it. We think it should be federally legal, blah, blah, blah. I think they're just setting themselves up to be distributors. That would be rad if I was a small craft grower and, sold through Amazon. Can you actually do that in Canada?
Not through Amazon, to the best of my knowledge yet.
No,
but I would suspect that you probably are correct, as they are setting themselves up to be able to, because it's already perfectly legal to ship cannabis throughout Canada. So why not? It's just another way for them to make money. Yeah. But perhaps there are other people that are already shipping through Amazon up here. I haven't heard about it yet. Maybe.
Right. It just came to mind. Go ahead.
That's a good point, and it probably is in the back of Jeff's mind there. But the way it was set up in Canada is it was left in the hands of the insiders and the rich and the politicians, and they got in on the licensed producer level. There was maybe 30 or so in Canada at the time, and they were set up basically to distribute medicine to medical patients. And of course, when recreational became legal, guess who became the supplier? The only supplier for all the recreational was the same licensed producers. And as those producers, they have got a stranglehold basically on the whole industry. And it's just and when recreational became legal, the medical patients were short. They couldn't get anything because all of their medicine, so-called medicine, was going to the recreational stores. And yet the recreational stores, they are not allowed to suggest in any way that it's a medicine. They can't say it's good for sleep or pain or what have you, and they can't even, advertise on the front of their store that they're a dispensary of any way, shape, or form. So since then, they have opened the market to what they call I don't think they call them craft dispensers, but basically they're just a little brother of the licensed producer, and the only place they can legally sell is to the licensed producers. But they can get a license to produce about 500 kilograms a year what is that? 1,200 pounds a year.
Okay.
And right now we have over 40 in BC, so it is growing. And I really believe that there one day there may be room for, like, even those operations are still going to be $5 million to set something like that up. And but eventually I can see mom and pop being able to get into the market. But right now there's very few people that control the market. Very few.
Well, the indicators are that at least here in British Columbia, possibly as early as next year, guys like you and I, Rick, who are already medical growers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard rumblings. I don't
I think
know.
he froze.
Yeah. So well, time will tell. So it's getting better. But when I look at some of the specific states that the situations that you have now, I think that maybe you're better off. But except for the obvious things that the federal, I mean, the fact that you can use a fucking bank. I mean, let's be serious. Things like that. And then there's going to be interstate. What's going on?
Go, Rick. Just keep going talking.
There, I don't know, something happened. Anyway.
I wonder if that's going to be two separate.
That's a little glitch in the matrix. It's okay.
Of course, I just lost my. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the fact that some of the states are really, they got their shit together compared to Canada as an individual state. But then things can change. Indica, I don't know the whole story, but there was a time when you were telling us how great the laws were in Mass, and now it's different. I just wondered if.
Yeah, no, the laws are still great. It's just it just costs so much money. It's just unbelievable, and I think there's only like one or two micro businesses here, because it's all commercialized. It's only people with big money, and it's just, it sucks. And it seems like when you go to all the meetings, it was always, just the people with the fucking money, with big money getting it. I don't want to say any names or nothing, but the place that I worked at that I left, that I was at for a little while. Reason why leaving, I went to another job that I get paid a lot more money, and etc. But it just sickened my heart to go in this place every day. It was 30,000 square feet, and it was the most fucking disgustingest fucking place I've ever seen. Moldy bowl, bud. I mean, pest, man. It was a fucking shit show, and I'm like, how the fuck does this pass, state inspections and shit like that? And it's just because it got money, and it's just sad, man. Why can't like a little guy like me with a few people that, are die hard, cannabis growers and have a love and passion for this, put some dank out there, man, but it's hard here. It's very, very hard, unfortunately.
Somebody who would do it right, and somebody that has a passion for it, man. You're not going to pass off moldy buds to a medical patient. That's just correct. You don't do that.
It's sad. And like I worked in packing room one day just to help out, and like I'm like, I asked the kid because he like, he ran like the little area and shit, and they had like one of those Grow Bros like sorters, and it did like quarters, eighths, grams. And I'm like, so you guys run moldy shit through this, and then you just fucking blow it off with air, and then you just run another strain. I'm like, that's insane, man. I was asking the main director, grower, whoever you want to fucking call him. It was the owner's best friend, so that's why he had that position. I'm sure he couldn't even answer questions to me, and he's like looking at me with like three eyes, and I'm like, are you fucking serious, dude? Like, how do I know more than you? I'm just a little man, like, and I was showing pictures to like the HR director there and shit, and they were like astonished about, my flower. They're like, how the fuck, that's love, that's passion, man, that's dedication, I give a fuck, dude. You know what I mean? So, like, you know,
absolutely.
It's amazing what a difference that has.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Really, you know,
and like Chad said, not even just medical patients, but fuck, I wouldn't pass that on to anybody.
I wouldn't, dude.
Shit.
I wouldn't. I don't care who it is, man. You know what I mean? Nobody, whether you use it for medical purpose or recreational, dude. You know, and like I said to the kid there, I'm like, dude, this place is gonna be fucked. I'm like, they're lucky that I never bought something from there and got that, man. Because even if I didn't smoke it and I seen that shit, I would have been like, dude, I smoked the whole fucking blunt of this shit. I'm like, dude, I would have fucking, you know, finding moldy bud like that, dude. That's insane, man. You know what the fuck? You know.
And you know what? Guess what? It's a fact that these places, they have to, in order to pass inspection, they have to irradiate all their shit. Yeah. And you know, that's if not, there's no way that they can get through that. But you know, I see what's going on in Michigan, and God damn it, that excites me. You know, like where Spartan works, 5-6 employees, and you know, small enough, big enough so that hopefully they can be successful, but small enough that they give the love.
Yeah.
And it makes all the difference, man. All the difference.
And the people you have caring for the plants makes all the difference too. You know, I mean, Spartan, dude, I will smoke his stuff all day, every day, any day. There's a lot. There's also sometimes too, when you get into the larger production facilities that, you know, employees are a dime a dozen because this is a cool job. We'll take anybody. The less you know, the better. And that happens a lot. And there's always high turnover.
That's so you can't take any information and use it against them or use it for your benefit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
you have no information to begin with.
Yeah.
There's legitimately a lot of people that show up thinking we're playing like beach volleyball and smoking bongs on lunch break, and then they realize that farming is not easy work.
Oh, I try to tell everybody that doesn't do this that this is actual work, and they fucking laugh at me. Especially the people that live with me that watch me do this shit. They're like, "You don't work." I'm like, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, that facility was 24 hours a day, 365. You know, there's been this was the first year in years where I actually had like holidays off. Because
dude, I'm crying about my own personal room. I'm not crying about a warehouse. I'm crying about my room. All right.
It's 3 plants.
Like the 8 plants that I got total that I got to deal with. I'm crying about that shit. I've had bigger rooms, but I'm still crying about this. It's still fucking work. Breaking down, trimming, cleaning up, all that, maintaining. It's all work.
If I had $1 for every minute I just stand there staring at them blankly, I'd drive a nicer car.
Right? That's him too.
Hey, come on, Prophet. It's a labor of love, and you know it. Okay, let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. So Chad, I talk to my plants.
Yeah, I love them. Chad, tell us a bit about the show that you're on, how long it's been around, and some of your partners there.
Yeah, it's the Future Cannabis Project. It's like their little sister channel. So it's FCPO2, and every first and third Saturday I'm on. And what I do there is I'll bring on, you know, I try to get like 2 or 3 different guests on there. And what we do is basically everybody just kind of shows their garden, shows their tent, shows you what they're doing, kind of, you know, how they're feeding, why they're doing it the way they are, whether they're organic or whether they're salt-based. It really makes no difference to me. I want to get people on to show their gardens and just to give people more perspective, more different ways to do it, things that it would take time for you to discover, but you can hopefully learn from these other gardeners doing it, you know, the way that they are. And, you know, I've had a lot of good people on with nice gardens. You know, I've showed my garden earlier on the Future Cannabis Project too. You know, good gardens are not a prerequisite of being on the show. Having flowering buds is not a prerequisite of being on the show. I mean, cannabis grows in all different stages. So again, the more exposure you can get to real world applications, I think is going to be better for everybody in the long run, because you can always learn just something from everybody in most cases.
Yeah, I feel like there's always a stage of growth. No matter every run you have, there is a stage of growth you could have done better. Every single run, whether it be my seedlings took too long to really take off, or whether it be like my, heavy veg was slow as shit, but I flowered fucking monstrously, so it all works out or something. But yeah, there's always something that you can adjust.
Yeah, and we want to, again, we are trying to fine tune it, and we are trying to get that race car, just because that that is our passion. You could stop at just watering and feeding, but we're not. And yeah, it's nice to be able to go kind of that little bit of a distance there.
Well, I said it before, like I wouldn't want to know everything about growing cannabis because it would get boring after that. Like I just want to keep learning more and more new things. So,
yeah,
even if I had the opportunity to be like, poof, everything, I wouldn't want it. It would just seem like it would make the whole experience less.
Yeah.
I don't
magic,
know.
Yeah,
man. Thank you.
It's discovery.
Experience is part of learning.
Yeah, I didn't want to go to that route, but I was trying to look for something a little more better of a word.
Amazing.
But yeah, Magic nailed it, that spirituality between the plant and learning it and everything else, the work you put into it is the work you're going to get out of it,
Yeah.
It returns it for you.
Know it all. Yeah, you're never going to know it all. That's why I loved audio. That's why I love this plant too. You're not going to know it all. Things will always change. Whether that be just seasonal adjustments in your same room that you have dialed in. And when it comes to like changing different things too, I always, it sucks. This plant teaches you patience, but don't change 5 things at once because you're not going to know what made the difference. And so that takes time. Yep. And so again, hopefully by examples, people could be like, oh, okay, well, I saw someone they pruned this particular plant that way, no go for this, or just feeding. Because dude, you can't change it up. And that's why I have veggie gardens too. Veggie gardens, they have quicker harvests, so you can play around out there more with things like soil amendments and whatnot.
Well, with new grows, you get the newest stuff, and they grab the newest stuff and they just keep hammering stuff into that plant, when they don't need to,
Yeah.
And it's just telling somebody to stop. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, just stop can be a lot of help, believe it or not. So I've had to for a few people. They were like, I'm putting this and this and this and this, and I'm like, dude, stop. Like,
yeah. Well, that's the whole don't change 5 things at once. Like, you're absolutely correct, but in my circumstance, it just struck me funny because everything I'm doing is 100% new. Like I've never grown in a tent before, but I'll be growing in tents using like Canon LEDs. I've never used LEDs before. Of AC Infinity, like everything down to the genetics. I've never grown any of it before, so it's gonna just be like, things are about to get real interesting. Even the soil I'm using is I went and made up my own batch of living soil. And it's been cooking about a month and a half now. So hopefully that'll be about ready.
I am so excited to see how this soil turns out. He foraged like everything for this soil. Nice. So this is all hand foraged shit that come out. And this is like not bought. Like this is going to be awesome to watch his go.
Yeah, I went out and got when you go walk through the bush and you see like fallen trees that have been down so long they started to red rot, and like I took a bunch of that, some moss, a couple of cow patties, and then I went to a creek that's near me, went into the creek and took a bunch of the silt out so I can add that to break up the organic matter. Went out to my parents' place. They live about 4 hours away from me, but they live like basically on a clay farm type thing. And so I brought back some clay with me so I could break that up into like more granular type consistency, mix that into the soil because that'll have like some aluminum, magnesium, and a bunch of other good stuff in there. And I did pay for some stuff. Like there's 4 kilograms of alfalfa meal I bought, some kelp meal, crushed oyster shell, Epsom salts, and then mushroom compost and worm castings. I did have to buy that. but like I think this is gonna be crushed crab shell from shells that like the girlfriend's parents. They cooked up the crab. I got to eat the crab, and then we threw the shells in the compost there with it, right? So that's to add some chitins and stuff. Really looking forward to this.
Right on, right on. I just want to do a quick shout out to our friends in chat. We got 72 watching, and I wanted to ask, especially Blue Kiss Gardens, a question. I was looking at on your Instagram page, and if you're not familiar, she started with the kiddie pool, and then she put in the piping for drainage, and she built a sip container, and I was quite impressed with what she had done there. But on top of that, she's put a fabric pot, and I swear that sucker has to be 100 pounds. I mean, it's a big one. So I just wanted to ask her how big it is and what she put in it. Oh my God, it looks beautiful. Check it out, Blue Kiss Gardens.
Definitely check it out. I've been following that too, and I've been enjoying it. It's, again, getting to see people do things outside. I could never do that in here, so it never really crossed my mind. But then seeing her do it there, I fully understand exactly what she's doing. But the way she did it, I'm just like, that's awesome. I love seeing that.
Yeah. Don't you love when you get that just obviously ingenious shit? And it's like, oh.
For sure, yeah. And thanks for reminding me though, Chad, because I was born in Vancouver, spent most of my life in the Lower Mainland. Now I live in the Caribou interior. A lot different climate, a lot drier. And I'm not going to dwell on it, everybody, but it's a higher latitude. We're the 49th parallel is where Vancouver is, and we're up around 54. Thank you. Okay, I won't bring that up anymore, except that I've given up on, I've been here 15 years, and every year I try to do something outdoors, and it's just like pissing against the wind. I don't know why. Well, it's been my passion, my love for it is why.
Have you tried autos yet?
Absolutely. Well, short answer is yes. Terrible story.
Funny story. Absolutely. Tell them, come on, you guys hamming me for mine. Tell them how many you did. Tell them what your yield was.
I planted 19. That's what my medical license allows me. So I planted 19. And so what happened was I had them under the lights, and then my other room had to come down, and that's my drying room. So they had to go out onto the by the window. And then when I finished drying, then I put them back under the lights. And when I got them outside, they were maybe about that high, 19 of them. And I thought, yeah, I'd be lucky to get, a joint per plant. Oh, no. It turns out I think I got a joint out of all 19 of them. It was very, very, but no, I got from Hype, I've got the autos happening. I planted them outdoors on the 10th, and today I saw on 2 of them, I saw a little bit of something going on. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. But is that what you're reverting to now, Chad, in your area?
If I were to try something outdoors, I would need to do autos. The weather here in August, September, it gets a little unpredictable. The last, 5-10 years, maybe it's been a little bit warmer and drier than I remember. But that's also when you get the really heavy rains, or, the 2 weeks worth of just humid weather. And if your crop's finishing October, that it just spells doom. So, if I had the autos and I just needed 3 months, that'd be great to get something out in, May or even earlier. That's would be what I would do. But I haven't done it. Just
I get it. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. So, I'll keep you in the loop. I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah. I just actually grew my first Autoflowers. So it went fairly well. Me being scientific guy, I wanted to do a 1 gallon, a 2 gallon, and a 3 gallon pot, see which flowered first, because, you know, plenty of people will say when it hits when the taproot hits the bottom, it's going to flower. Two of the three sprouted. One, it was kind of a mutant, so science went out the window on this one.
Yeah.
But,
Well, and of course, I always say it, but I truly believe. Well, two things I got to get off my chest, and then I promise I'm going to hand it over to the rest of the panel. One, autoflowers are the future. Autoflowers are going to be like within 5 years. It's going to take over. Number two, well, and that's kind of leads me to the amount that we study this plant. It blows my mind. And since I've been started growing, the changes that have come, is just absolutely phenomenal. But Chad, I'm just curious what you think. If you could look into your crystal ball, where do you think this will all be, even in as little as 5 years? Where do you see the biggest changes? The lighting, or the soil, or microbes, or?
I personally will always love photos. I'll play with autos, but I will always run photos because I can make them as big as I want.
Yep.
So that's where I'm at in my area. I can do photos fully outdoors during the season, so I don't have to deal with the time limit. So this might be a Canadian question, and you might be looking for that, but for me, always photos. But I will play with autos now. I'm getting intrigued.
I think
what I'm suggesting is possibly
for outdoors, aren't you, Rick? Outdoor.
Well, that and all of the science and the genetics that's going on with autos is it's going to produce. We'll be able to produce autos as good or better than photos. So the idea of making them bigger may or may not apply. But listen, I obviously I respect each and every one of our growing styles. And as I'm asking you, Chad, I'm not going to hold you to it. Whatever you tell us, it's going to be in 5 years. I'm not going to hold you to it.
Right? It's going to be a mix.
Now that makes me worry.
It's going to be a mix because there's going to be different kinds of growers. You know, outdoors, big commercial guys, they'll probably go with autos because you can pull more harvest per year. And you are getting some really tasty strains. They are doing a lot of genetic work on the autos. They have XXL autos, which get the size of a regular plant, but it also takes the same amount of time. So in my head, I'm like, well, just run the photo period if you can. But if you don't have a light proof situation or you're using the sun, the auto can work there. So I don't know. I think the home grower, again, there's going to be a couple different home growers. I think all of us here are the home growers that like to experiment. We like to look for things. We want to find something new. We like the adventure of it. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing. But there's also a lot of growers coming online that want to set it and forget it. And that's fine. I think autos are going to be great for them. I think autos are good for people I work with the people around the globe, and there's a lot of people who don't have a grow store near them. They can't buy certain pieces of gear. So in their case, autos are, another good choice because for some reason those ship worldwide, but everything else doesn't. In 5 years, it's hard. It's really hard to predict. Other than I know autos are going to keep getting better.
And I think, I've heard other people having the argument that, you're going to see a lot of people with, window plants. And auto would be a perfect window plant,
Absolutely.
Pot in a window. It doesn't take any, typically the autos seem to be a little less requirements, for it. So, the window plant, man, and auto's perfect for that.
Can't you see your grandmother just having that sitting out in her window?
That would be great.
Absolutely. For a med, man.
Take something like a freak show and crossbreed that into an autoflower. That'd be interesting. I think people would really go for that.
I had Freak Show as one of my like grow goals to do in life, and somebody connected me with some seeds, and I'm about to get those wet this week. And yeah, that's actually one I'm like, you know what? I was talking to my wife. I'm like, we could probably get away with putting this in the front window for a while. You know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
It'll stay there for a while. Yeah.
So, hey, Rick, I got a little bit maybe of a prediction for your area where it comes to the auto plant. I think if there's breeders out there, they might want to actually start breeding for temperature stress, more of a, on the cold side, right? Because that's your issue, is cold temps, right? So if they were to breed a strain to grow there, they would have to come up with something that could be more resistant to the cold. So that would be my crystal ball look into the future for a region such as yours playing with the autoflower.
Yeah, of course. And of course, that's where the Ruderellus came from, was Ural Mountains of Russia. And it's been bred into the autoflower. Our other challenge, though, is the hours of daylight. So we have to, but you're right. We can get frost in May, and we can get frost in September. So it's a small window of opportunity there. That's for sure. I mean, it's pretty much that's it. I've resigned to the fact that if I'm going to grow outdoors, it has to be autoflower.
That or a greenhouse, just.
Well, I've done it in a greenhouse. Again, now we're back to light deprivation. I did the light deprivation thing. I mean, it was insane. I'd go out there at 8 o'clock at night, and there was, oh my God, it was only like maybe a 8 by 12 area, but I physically, I had this tarp that I had to pull back 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and then one at the end, 5. And then I go to bed, and of course, 8 in the morning, I have to be out there rolling it all back again. And and still nothing.
And it doesn't take a day off either.
Oh, absolutely. No, you can't be forgetting. Hey, I just got a quick question on that. Somebody told me years ago, when I thought I could tolerate that light depth thing, that if I just did it for like a couple of weeks, that maybe that's all I need. In other words, like say last 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks in August, maybe I did it for 2 weeks. Then I wouldn't have to do it again. Would that be true, or
do we have enough auto breeder information on the panel right now?
Well, and also you'd have to know what time the sun rises and what time the sun sets.
That's You'd have to know your total amount of daylight, and then that will kind of answer it.
You could bring in an artificial light to make up for the lost daylight. I mean, it'll only be a few hours.
And even that's almost strain dependent. You got to know if your strain wants it, because some of them, they won't flip that, or they'll flip at 14 hours.
Right.
So some of them will. I've had them, down to where it was almost like 11 hours before that son of a bitch would flip. Wow. So. It's strain dependent. There's so many factors.
Yeah, no, it's autoflowers from me on in outdoors. That's for sure.
So Chad, what's your favorite strain, man? And I know what you're smoking on. What's your favorite strain out there?
My favorite strain.
And make the answer tubular.
Tubular, bro. Let's see. Right now, gosh, that's a tough one. Probably the last one. Okay, so the one that I'm looking for, the one that I would love to find in the seed, it's called Puna Butter. There's a company up here. It has a Hawaiian golden pineapple, which is a cross of golden pineapple and the Puna Butter. And the Puna Butter is just like a velvety, smooth, like inhale. It has a unique taste to it, which is why I like it. A lot of stuff you smoke and you can be like, oh, this is kind of like this, or oh, it's kind of like that. You always have something to compare it to. But the Puna Butter, I don't really have anything to compare it to. Dutch Treat is the closest, but it just has like a special terpene profile. It's not gassy, it's not floral. It's somewhere in between, I guess. But yeah, peanut butter is on my top list of things I love to
that
try.
lilac-y floral, because yeah, when you get into that weird floral and gas, it makes such a weird combination, man. That's just, it's wonderfully weird.
Yeah, and it's again, it's not ultra common, so it's like I don't have a whole bunch of references for it, but yeah, because when you say lilac, that when I get lilac terpenes, to me that also does come with like that smoothness or that like velvetness in the smoke, and
Yeah,
that is that same
absolutely.
thing that passes on there.
Yeah, that like full feel of smoke, you know, it feels silky.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it
man.
when it caresses your lungs. So, you know, it's not harsh. It tastes good. It's there the whole way down, but you exhale and you're like, you feel like a champ because you're like lung capacity.
Do you, is there any 6 Feet Under fans under here? You know that song 420 that they did, where it's like the caress of velvet up against my soul, but he's doing a death metal. Eh? It's just like, yes, that is fucking it right there. I got a way more important question to be asking here, Chad. If you could be any animal, which animal would you be?
I would be a giraffe so I could walk around asking people, do I wear my necktie up here or do I wear it down here?
Great answer.
You just want people looking up at your balls. We all know it.
That is like you expected that answer, that question, and I actually had an answer. Holy shit.
Hey man, where a giraffe wears its bow tie is one of those life questions I may never have answered. So it's always at the top of my mind.
That's like is a zebra black with white stripes or white with black stripes, right?
I want to know where it's going with a necktie. Like where's this?
In case he has a job interview.
He's
Oh,
professional. Yeah, he just likes to be professional at all times.
What's the matter with
Don't
you?
fucking judge him.
Yeah.
I'm not judging. I just want to know what his profession is, where he's going. Maybe I'd
He doesn't. He's on a job hunt.
He's fucking important, man. That's what he's doing.
Jeffrey Giraffe lost his job at Toys R Us like 6-7 years ago, man. He's in the trade market.
He's fucking in the streets now.
He's like a child. He's a child actor. Nobody wants
He's tired
him.
of flipping signs, man, with an arrow.
Oh no, he's child actored. Oh no.
Another sweet thing about being a giraffe is you'd be tall enough you could just walk around teabagging people like whenever you felt like it.
You're like, oh, I'm sorry, did I do that?
Yeah.
Damn frog!
I did do that.
Frog.
Oh, good call, Johnny.
Yeah.
Pulling people's hats off, which
Hey, I thought
Johnny's still awake.
Crazy about the draft. I thought they needed a distraction to dabs.
Dude, you're still awake. I'm proud of you.
I slept all fucking day.
I know.
You were sleeping right now.
He said he took like 2 naps. One was for 5 hours. Like, dude, that's not
It's
a
that
nap.
Doctor Who. That Doctor Who's fire, man. It's my nighttime meds. I'm gonna smoke a joint of that as soon as I don't want to smoke it now because I'll be gone in 30 seconds. But it's pretty good, man.
Johnny, it's got to be good. It's got you cross-eyed, brother.
I know.
That is a good strain. That's a strain I haven't seen up here for a while. But that was usually a buy on spot strain. And that now, is that an old TGA strain, Doctor Who? If anybody knows.
It might be. I actually want to try the TARDIS as well. Okay. I'm a Doctor Who fan, so I'm hooked to them. Just like the Ninja Turtle ones, I try those. You know.
Dude, I'm totally down to try the Ninja Turtle strains.
Especially the Shredder I hear about.
The Shredder is a banger. It produces.
I've heard the Leonardo's fire as fuck too.
I heard the Raph was killer, which I'm glad because Raph had the baddest attitude with them all, and he deserved to be the heavy hitter.
Oh, whatever, man. Michelangelo was always supposed to be the ultimate one because he was the stoner of the group.
Yeah,
he's a party dude, man.
He was a party dude, yeah.
Stick,
but that's the one that's supposed to make you laugh and giggle. But if you want to be couch locked and hit in the head, it should be a Raph. you want to start
Fair
reflecting, you want to reflect
Fair
on some
point.
shit, it should be a Leonardo or maybe a Donatello. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Goddamn, Prophet's getting all deep into this shit.
hey,
Thought
I
about this.
love my fucking turtles.
It's like you prophets thought about this and was just waiting for a show to fucking interject it in. So I'm glad it finally came in because I agree with pretty much everything you said.
Thanks.
And these are the Irie genetics ones, right?
Well, they're the only ones I know about.
I just wanted to make sure because I was about to like say, yeah, I grew his lemon sunrise, and holy shit, I was really impressed with that plant. And I've seen a lot of impressive things from other strains, kind of like you guys are saying. But yeah, Roasted Jeff, man, that lemon sunrise was a beast. That I would grow outdoors if I had the chance, because that shit ate my tent basically.
I've never actually grown or tried one of Roasted Jeff's plants. I didn't actually really get into the Roasted Jeff or hear about him until I saw that he created the Prophet, which intrigued me. And then
I got 6 different strands of his outside right now.
Yeah, the ones that you mentioned, but I mean, I've seen a few because I looked on the page and checked out what he had, and he had some amazing shit. But he's got so much that you lose track of them. It's just the ones that stick out to you. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, can't try them all, right? It's like impossible, wouldn't it?
You can try.
11's try.
You can try and get them all.
That sounds pricey.
Yeah, that picture behind me is mostly a tent full of Irie.
Oh wow!
Hey, you had an auction. I asked how much was my nut worth for Auntie, and I didn't get an answer. So
you didn't pay attention. I said you actually owe me $5.
So we'll take that out. Is it only worth $5? Do I owe you still money afterwards? What
Absolutely.
the fuck's going on?
You owe him $13.50 now.
$13.50 plus a reach around.
Wow. You know what? I don't even want to play.
Well, hey, you should check your mailbox in the next few days. Allegedly, you might be getting some profit.
Oh shit! When I do, I'll show it off.
Allegedly. I even threw in a little skunk one from Todd McCormick there.
Oh really?
Oh, oof. You son of a bitch!
See, now this is.
How long does that take for grow? Is that an 8-week or?
I believe it's a 9-weeker, but I haven't grown it yet. I just got them myself. I was waiting for the next round to pop them. I got those through. Actually, it was off of Future Cannabis Project. That one of the benefits that they do.
So I'm starting off basically with all like 6 new strains, basically. So this should be fun. I haven't done that in a long time.
That's really cool. So since we're talking, since skunk just got brought up again, and I was talking about it earlier, if there's anybody that can get me some skunk seeds, I would like to try it because, like I said, I've never tried a representation that actually reminded me of what a skunk actually smells like, and I would love to actually try it out and see for myself. Because let's face it, you could have somebody could name any strain that you want, wave it under your nose, and be like, "This is it." And unless you actually know for a fact, you don't know. So it could be very well a case of that. So I'm very interested in this because I don't want to knock anybody. I'm not trying to. It's just I personally have never experienced it, and I would like to. So. I would appreciate that very much if I could get my hands on a couple of beans because I'm
it's a really hard strain or smell to explain. It's a pungent, sweet stink.
It probably really does smell like that skunk you hit. Like I legitly have not seen the skunk since probably late mid 90s. That's really the last time I remember like having it in my hand. Last time I remember smoking it. There was one time at the Stevens Pass, which is the snowboard spot, the parking lot. I fucking looked for where that smoke came from. I could not find it. It could have been like 3 miles down the road, but somebody like hit it, and instantly I'm just like drop everything I'm doing, and I'm like, I've got a fucking half ounce here. I need to find this person, and I'll trade it for a bud. Like, don't give a fuck. But yeah, it really does exist.
Yes.
My
boy
there's
showed up.
No mistaking it.
But, dude, my boy showed up, and he had it in his backpack, and he fucking reeked so bad. And I was like, dude, we're on a main street, like we're fucking college town, you know, fucking cops walk up and down. And I'm like, dude, you cannot be here right now. We gotta fucking go. Like it literally smelled like he rolled around in a skunk that he found on the side of the road, dude. This stuff was so sticky and so smelly. It was wrapped 3 times in a bag in a backpack. And like, I was like, he was like, should I get on the bus? I was like, no, you shouldn't get on the bus. No, we need to walk. We need to keep going. Like, we can't stop. You reek, all right? I can smell you like coming. That's how bad you were. But I haven't seen it since, man. But
hey, man, Roxy's behind you telling you to calm the fuck down.
You saw that. It's like they had to get away from it because it was like the smell that everyone associated with cannabis. You know, that was the smell. Hey, oh my God, I smell a skunk. You know, is it a skunk or is it weed?
Yeah.
So it's almost like
you literally couldn't tell the difference. There was no telling the difference.
If I smell a skunk, I will drool a little bit. I will salivate.
Yeah.
You know, I will salivate.
Now, to me, it wasn't like a skunk, like fresh, like really close to a skunk. It was a skunk like a mile away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't that super crazy skunk.
The skunk he's talking about is a burnt rubber, like first spray. That's like a burnt rubber smell. That's hardcore. But a lingering smell after it's been dead or after it's dispersed, there's a bit of a sweet smell hidden in the funk. That's like, if you haven't smelt it, it's so hard to explain. You know, it's like
skunk is one thing that when you have it, you're not going to question whether you have it or not. And that's for all these people, you know, there's always somebody out there who's like, no, bro, I still got it, or it's still out there. It's like, dude, if it really was and you really have it, you would be a millionaire next week. Like, no joke. Everybody wants it. So if it's out there, and maybe, you know, there is some guy in the hills of Mendocino, Trinity, Shasta, whatever, that has it, but they could give 2 shits about the rec market and anything. They're just legacy growing up there.
He'd shoot you if you walked on his land and asked type shit.
Yeah. But I mean, really, it's like, if it really is out there, and, you know, all the seed people who, you know, I'm the same. I'll buy the seeds. I'll do the hunt. I want, you know, I like that. But somebody who says they have the true skunk in a seed form, it's like, dude, you'd be a millionaire and you wouldn't be talking to me online. So that's how I look at it. Cause you don't have to be like, is this skunk?
You know it.
No, nobody ever asked that.
If you guys are saying it is that dead obvious, then no, I definitely have never been around it, because you know how a lot of the times when people are describing something that you smell, it's kind of faintly there. You get a hint of maybe that, right? And you guys are making it like, no, like if you smell it, you damn well know you've smelt it. And I've that's not been my case. So that makes me even more intrigued now, because I to be honest, I just kind of wrote it off as kind of, probably not kind of thing. But you guys, you got
like
it's a strain you don't want in your car.
Like you're saying, you know, I've got a strain right now that smells like somebody did a burnout on top of a dead skunk. So you really smell that burnt rubber with an undertone of skunk. You know, it's not so far up in your face, you know, but it's more like half. You know, it's not super subtle. It's like half. So it's a nasty, funky bitch, man. But you know, it's unfortunately it's got that burnt rubber ahead of it.
Right. Yeah. There's some that are getting close. There's some that are really close, but nothing that brings me back fully.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you how long it's been since I came across that. I mean,
I know.
I don't really want to date myself too much either.
Yeah.
Shit.
I could tell you it was at least the 2000s for me.
Yeah, it was
maybe late 1990s, but definitely latest in 2000s.
Yep.
I was actually impressed because before that, I was like, shit, 5 years younger than that. And the first time I came across it was through an old school hippie. But I was shocked this kid had it, and I was just like, where did you get that? And may I buy some? You know, but let's go. We gotta go to my house. And you know what I'm saying? Like, get you off the street. Let's go to my house. It's nice and safe. I can buy some. That'd be cool. Yeah.
I just like now that you got the conversation in chat starting about like what the real skunk does. And, you know, almost everybody's got a story of what the real skunk does.
That's
You know,
the thing,
like,
man. It was around for like almost a good portion of the generations to at least, you know, latch onto and be like, I got a story of that.
It's the Yeti. It's the Bigfoot. Everybody thinks they've seen it, but it's out there.
It's a Loch Ness smoke monster.
When growing was fully illegal, it stunk so bad that you really were taking a major risk growing that shit. So coming across it cost you and was rare. So like,
yeah,
that's the thing. Like there was no joke. Like a motherfucker, you knew you were growing. Somebody was growing skunk out of a house if you walked by it. There was no denying that.
Yeah, and carbon filtration wasn't the same as it is today. The technology's not the same, and like,
and plus they were looking for electric spikes, like any type of electric spike, you know. So you walk by a house that was growing skunk, you knew it had it. So all the skunk was mostly grown more out in the woody area. So
you definitely don't want neighbors. I mean, of all the like theories of where it went, that's the one that I'm most likely to believe, because it's logical. It was a huge risk. It painted a target on your back. It stunk so bad that it brought unwanted attention, and in the black market days, that's not what you wanted. Yep. So, you know, you could cross it out. Skunk Man Dave Watson, he had like a sweeter one, kind of worked with that as far as genetics go. But yeah, I really think people selected away from it, and that's just, you know, not easy to get back.
Transporting was risky. Never mind like mutilating the plant. Like that's usually when that thing really reeks while you're cutting that thing. So, you know, never like growing it was once fucking hardcore skunky smell. The next one was just like you were mutilating skunks, and then the next one was just like this straight up roadkill skunk. You know, like there was never a time that thing did not fucking reek.
And that smell will get everywhere too. When I was in Northern California, doing my audio thing and working at a snowboard, surfboard, skateboard shop. And these dudes, you know, they'd come down every now and then, but you could tell that they had just like delivered or they had been trimming or something, because they'd always come in, they'd buy, you know, new wetsuit, new surfboard every time, just paying cash. And even the cash smelled like weed, dude. Like you'd walk in and they're like pig pen. They have that little funk around them. But yeah, it's like you put the cash in the register and the register smells for the rest of the night.
I love when you forget that you actually have that funk and you walk into places like in a store and people are just looking at you and you're just like, what the fuck are you looking at? And then next thing you know, you're like, oh, that might be me. And then you walk back into your house and you're like, whoa, that's what my house smells like? Holy shit, that's what was going on. All right.
And for anybody who doesn't think growing cannabis has a distinct smell, you're wrong, because it does. Vegging plants smell a lot different than smoked cannabis. So that's another reason for filtration at your house, because that is not a good thing to let out either.
Actually, you just reminded me of a pretty funny story. Back in the shithead days in high school, me and one of my best friends broke into a guy's grow op. And we come out with, there's a pound of weed we come out of this with, right? It's nicely trimmed. And I'll say this still to this day, this is some of the best weed I'd ever smoked. And anybody that was in our circle was saying the same shit, right? But anyways, we get back down to my place, and I wasn't allowed to smoke weed. Like, I got my ass kicked for that kind of stuff. But we had this into my room, and we were fucking bagging it up and dividing it and all that stuff. I remember my mom at the top of the stairs just, Brad, what are you guys doing down there? And like, I'm just like, oh shit, I'm busted again. This isn't good. And like, that was kind of the end of it. And like, but she figured we were smoking weed down there. And it's like, no, we didn't smoke anything down there because A, it was too wet to burn because it was fucking fresh, like just trimmed that day kind of fresh. And but B, I was too scared to smoke it in the house because I got my ass kicked if I got caught smoking it in the house. So I tried to limit that as much as possible. But it stunk the house up so bad. And I remember her mentioning it, you know, years later when I was an adult. And yeah, I remember that night, you and your friend over and you're smoking weed down there. It's like, nah, ma, we just did this asshole thing. And now it's kind of funny because you like, you know, now that I'm a grower and, you know, I've also been an adult and had shit ripped off for me that I've paid and worked hard for. It's like, fuck, I wish I would have got caught and just had some little bit of sense beaten into me a little bit sooner because damn well fucking deserved it.
You live and learn.
Yeah.
I remember the first time that I actually dried in my home and then dry trimmed in my home and did not think about filtering. You know, I was doing it in my lung room and I was like, oh, that should be good enough. Oh, hell no. And I'm pretty sure everybody down the block smelled that shit. I was like, ooh. Yeah, my wife definitely like called me before she got to the house and was like, if that's you, you need to fix that.
Oh, busted. Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
I remember my very first chem dog I grew, which I've talked about on the show before. It was also the first real stinker I had. And it was at the point where, you know, like you couldn't smell it when you pulled into the driveway, but as soon as you got within about 10 feet of the house, you could smell it. And me and my daughter, who, this is about 4 or 5 years ago, so my daughter would have been 2 or 3 at the time, coming down the driveway or down the road, and there's a fucking police truck in my driveway. Oh, what the fuck is, you know, you start shitting bricks because what else would they be there for? And what it was, I had a buddy of mine was staying at my place and living in a fifth wheel, or I think they might have already moved out or whatever the situation was. But anyways, this guy's wife was just a fucking gong show of drama. And so she kind of had to go, and she brought the freaking cops to my door for something completely unrelated. Cops never said a damn thing about the plant, thank God. But I was just like one of those, like, you know, doing your best to try and tap it cool while you're shitting your pants.
Hey, real quick, man. I was just reading this in chat. Al the Beastly, man, just said that he lost his best friend and brother, man. Let's do a dab up for that man right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dab for you, man.
Cheers, brother. Sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks for bringing that up, Fuckins. It's awesome.
Cheers.
Sending you some love and positive energy to you and your family.
This is one of the only communities that will stop whatever it's doing to, you know, whoever it is. That's just what I love about this place, you know. Like,
it's the plant. It just makes you so empathetic.
It does, you know. Cheers out.
Cheers, DP.
You know, we all have a common goal, and a lot of times we may not have had a common experience, but the road may have been the same. And, you know, as someone who smokes cannabis and has for a long time, there's a lot of bullshit and stigma attached to it and attached to people that, you know, may use the reefer. And I think we all kind of know better. And sometimes when you've been categorized or something in that group, you can kind of get over that hump of like some of the differences and just be like, we're all one, man, you know?
Exactly.
Here.
And now, you know, not only cannabis now, it's other plant sciences as well, or plant medicines as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fungus and multiple other ones, not even plant science or plants. And, you know, MDMA is having a huge breakthrough right now on a lot of other things. So, you know, this is just, I believe, a starting point in a huge revolution for the mind and mental health throughout, you know, so. Cheers.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. I think a lot of these things are going to be looked at and can be used to help mental health. You know, a lot of these things, again, I used recreationally back in my day, But kind of knowing what I know now and looking at a lot of some of the studies, it's like a lot of these things change the person who I am and the perspective that I have. And like, that's purely medicinal because, life could have been different, much different.
Hey man, I find 90% of the time the people I can actually talk to are fucking stoners.
Hey, Chad, I can relate with what you were saying, Chad. I've said since I was about 16, 17 that marijuana was my medication because they tried to feed me full bunch of bipolar meds and all that bullshit. It turned me into a fucking zombie. And I discovered that smoking weed did the same, made me more at ease myself. And not a zombie. And I've said for the last 30 years that it's my medication. So I'm glad to see that it finally came to a point where it is a medicine now.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen. And good for you, man. Because it's a conversation. It's a conversation to have. It's not, I early on in the medical days of Washington before it went rec, which is like 2010, 2012, I was really involved kind of with like cannabis education on the medicinal level. And I kind of targeted, for lack of a better word, senior citizens, because I felt that demographic was the most entrenched with reefer madness, but also one of the demographics that could benefit the most from it. And so that was one of my huge outreaches. And I'm, Sweet Johnny, it's nice to be able to talk about it in a medicinal setting with more than just like anecdotal evidence. There's actually the science that's catching up. Uncle Rick, you were talking earlier, where are things going to be in 5 years? What's going to progress the most? Whether it's lighting, which is always taken off, or genetics with the autos. But hopefully the conversation around medicine and our understanding of the endocannabinoid system. That's Spain, Israel, those are the two countries that have a lot of good studies that include human trials in it. That's the place to look. I also kind of think too that a lot of the companies in the United States, pharma is definitely tossing their R&D money into this, but I think there's a lot of things that are already in the works that once there's that, the federal legalization in the US kind of leads to like corporate acceptance, which kind of leads to overall acceptance. Once that happens, their building is built, their formulas are calculated. They just need to flip on the light switch. So hopefully when that happens, we'll see a lot more research that's going to back up everything we've known and we've felt and we've told each other for years. So I'd love to see that be an advancement.
That was beautiful.
Absolutely, that's pretty exciting. Yeah, you mentioned Israel. Yeah, they've been researching this plant for many years now.
Yes, it's what, like the 60s, right?
Way before that. If you go with the Israelite aspect, thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah.
That's another thing that kind of blows the mind too. This isn't like a new plant or something that we discovered. It actually has shown up in like medicinal context over the centuries. It's kind of weird too. We have this weird short-term memory almost. Some things can be great and then a generation goes by and then it's the devil. And then hopefully it's the loop, but yeah.
It's like half of that generation almost, it's like one generation will have like a mass of just like good people, and then the next one will just be just some shitty fucking people. It's a yin and the yang factor, huh?
Right. Well, it's funny. I've heard some, because a lot of people that I know, they'll have kids or they'll have teenagers at this point. And it's kind of funny that because pot is almost like socially acceptable these days, or they might know that their parents might, smoke it on the weekend, whatever, it's not as appealing to kids anymore. It's not such a like breaking the rule rebel thing. So it'd be funny if it like actually kind of like goes down for a little bit.
Yeah, I had a friend that they called me and they were like, "Oh my God, I feel like shit. I thought I took something that I thought was Molly and it wasn't, And so I was like, "Oh, that's funny. I got some weed. You want to, try to chill out or whatever?" And they're like, "Oh no, I don't smoke weed." I was like, "It's like random drugs from people that you don't know what the fuck it is, but you don't, like."
I'll take the pill in the bag I found on the floor after the rave, but no way, that's danger.
But you know, it's like they're able to make that distinction today. No, I don't like the way, you know, that it's gonna kind of put me down. You know what I mean? That's cool. There's that awareness that a lot of people didn't have, especially me. I don't know. I always like weed. I like the weed that makes me racy and fucking freak out and don't know where the fuck my phone's at and I'm talking on it type shit. I like the weed that glues me. I like the weed and everything in between, you know, like pro fucking weed.
Until I started growing my own and then growing different strains and then figuring out, you know, when I wanted to pull and all these things and started tailoring my high to my day. I can function absolutely normally and efficiently, perfectly, and then go home and get smacked right in the face and go to sleep. You know, it's so amazing once you figure out how to tailor it to yourself and your situation, man. That's where it's at.
Absolutely. And I just love like the whole starting to source it yourself, not having to go out and find it from other people type shit, you know. I love that aspect, and that's something Fluffy always pushes on me. And he doesn't even do it on purpose most of the time, you know what I mean? He's just talking about it. I'm like, fuck yeah. Dude,
well, once you start growing, that's what you want to do, man. That's the goal.
You know? Yeah. So Dave, earlier you had a background of a pretty nice looking crop there. Can you flash that back up on the screen and tell us a little bit about it? Those colas were pretty, that's the one, holy shit.
But I like the cat.
How did you like that so fast? It takes all of us on this panel like a combined 4 minutes at least to just change one screen. You just did it.
Yeah, really. It's having the settings open too.
This is fucking it.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there. In the far left corner, you've got some Bodhi seeds. It's DJ Short Blueberry and Apollo 11 F3. Nice. You've got some Blueberry Butcher testers in the middle. Mac 1 to Arise from Irie Genetics. That's all the way in the back center. You got Shredder in the back right, which is behind my head. I'll kind of move out of the way. You've got Dog Stomper from Irie Genetics in the front right. It looks like Raphael is straight in the front. That's also from Irie. And the front left is another Mac 1 to Arise from Irie Genetics.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. What stage, what age are they, the flower?
This was around day 64, I'm pretty sure. Because the raft came down at right around that time. This was the raft was ready to come down.
Yeah, they all look
beautiful.
They all look great, and the thing that I really love too is they're all like, it's a pretty uniform canopy with that many different strains in there. That's you know, sometimes it takes a little bit of planning to get that, but I love the donkey dicks.
Right. Yeah. The only one that I really had to do anything to was the Blue Apollo that from Bodhi. That one I had to actually super crop and bend her over. But the rest of them, they are, you know, grew pretty uniform. But the Blueberry Butchers, they were testers. I kind of ran them real quick, so I propped them up in the middle. So they didn't have quite the veg time that the others did. So you are right in the planning aspect of it.
Yeah. I try to do perpetual grows here, and I've been trying a few new strains, and they finished later than I'm used to. So then my veg got a few weeks behind, and then by the time it got into the flower, the last run was one of those runs where I was just like, holy, save me, please.
Yeah. These lights, they can't go any higher.
Yeah, exactly. I've got it all ironed out now, but that is a huge thing because I run multiple different strains. I like variety, kind of like Fluffy was saying. It's like I need, and I've had, you know, like my morning, my afternoon, my daytime, my evening. I've got all that mapped out because it's something that it keeps me going throughout the day. But yeah, my nighttime, I'm not smoking in the morning because not the effect that I need or want. But yeah, when you get that variety like that, it does take planning. So that's awesome to see.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate
that. Tailoring it too, tailoring it throughout your grow for the effect. Also, I mean, kind of kind of taking that weed that you already know is going to couch lock you, and then either taking it a little bit one way or the other, you know, you can take that couch locky weed and make it an afternoon strain, but you can also take it and make it it's totally game over strain.
I love hearing stuff like this, and you know, just seeing that you got to be experimental. We all know that, you know, okay, generally 10% clear, 10% amber, 80% milky. That's a good baseline for when to harvest if you're looking at your trichomes. But the ambers are going to be, you know, more sedative. The clear is going to be a little bit more head high. Try it, experiment, pull it early, pull it late, exactly like you're saying. I have a Temple Runts. First time that I ran it, I was flowering it. I pulled one right at 60 days when they said, and I pulled the other at, I think, like 74, 75, because that's when it looked like it was done. We'll see. They're curing right now, but yeah, man, play around with that stuff, because it's really all about what we're after at the end of the day.
It's so true.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are spot on with tailoring it to your own needs, and you can definitely experiment. You could even take like a branch off at a certain time, you know, a little earlier, you know, experiment with the same plant, you know, and then separate them out and see what you like the best. So your next run with that plant, you can determine exactly what you're going for.
I like to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say I like to run every plant I get like 3 times, and I will pull early, mid, and late on every one of them, and that's how I do it. And so if I get that strain again, I know what I want to do with it. But that way I also get everything. I get my spectrum of how I like that plant grown. Obviously, by the 3rd time, I'm going to do a way better job. So, you know, by that time, I've already planned it to kind of be my late pulling medicine that's real sedative, you know, because that's what I enjoy the most. So, you know, I want that to be my best grown stuff. You know, but other than that, right, I mean, you know, my pull early one is great for a first grow, you know, so.
I did that with the headband. I had the 2 headbands going. I pulled one like almost 2 weeks early, and it had a good head high and a good body high and everything. And then I pulled the other one when it was ready to go, and that one really kind of hit you. So
double lettuce.
Yeah, Dave.
Devil lettuce.
Dave, now you're just showing off. What the hell? What kind of bud are you showing us now, there, buddy?
That's the Mac 1 Arise.
Okay.
That's 2 side-by-side phenos. I'll move out of the way. The pink and the purple.
Pinky and the brain.
This was the day before harvest, day 73.
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
Thank you. These were a pleasure to grow. So not typical of your Mac 1 experience normally. That's everybody says it's such a pain in the ass to grow out and veg. I guess the Arise really kind of leveled that out, made it a little easier to handle. But then the smoke, it just knocks you right on your ass. I just actually hit a bong of it. Wow, it's nice.
Oh fuck! I thought he'd never leave. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm back.
Damn it, Rick! You got to watch the screen, buddy.
Remember who's still here. The names are right there.
Fluff almost looks like he has one of those like Shogun helmets on. If you sit in the middle.
Samurai.
Yep.
Good call.
Awesome. What are you showing off there now, Fluff?
That was
Draft
my
off.
last run of that Kerple Fantasy #1.
Right on.
That was an enjoyable strain.
A lot of sugar on that one. Wow.
Yeah, she was a frosty bitch.
Yeah.
She really loved my no-till setup too. She really thrived in that system. So when I did her just kind of like in the living soil, I got a decent. It's a OG heavy strain, so it can be notoriously a little bit of a pain in the butt to grow. And trying to tailor newts and stuff, I wasn't
extremely happy with the results. You know, it was a High Times Cup winner at one point, and so I really expected a lot out of the strain, and I just wasn't getting it. And when I threw that thing in that no-till, boy, it just showed out like nobody's business, man. It loved it.
That's gorgeous looking.
Yeah. And this was the run where I let it go, and it's also the run where I've regretted letting it go.
No.
Yeah, it was one of those.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I'm about to start everything over, which I haven't done for years, just because I've been working on seeds, but I'm kind of to the point to where I need to focus on pheno selection at the moment. So I'm letting things go that I've been running for years. And like you said, three times is kind of my magic number too. First time I like to let it grow. I don't really do much to the plant. I want to see how it wants to grow, what it's going to do. The clone, sometimes you could get a slight drift from the parent, the seed, to the clone in expression. So I'll always kind of like make my judgment to keep it or cut it off of the clone. And then, you know, that second one, or that first clone of it, I'll do a little bit of training. I'll have my baseline of how it grew the first time. I'll be able to compare whether it likes training or whether it doesn't. And then, you know, the third time, just to make sure that I want to keep it or cut it. That's usually how I've been going. But
wow.
Yeah, now
I'm brutal in my plant, dude. Right from the get-go.
it takes a long time though.
I'm slamming her. I want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, hey, I'm not nice to anything. Everything
I'm just
as
saying,
well as I can in my system. I mean, you can only really push so hard in a no-till system without getting, you know, crazy. I'm not running a sealed room with, you know, CO2 and a bunch of crazy stuff. You know, I try to keep it pretty reasonable, but I do push as hard as I can, as a no-till system will let me. And so I get that, but yeah, there's only so hard I can really do that.
Well, I'm talking about like topping and everything else. Like I'm right from the get-go.
You don't like to just see what it does for the first grow?
No.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. It's an obsession. I need my canopy to be even.
Yeah. No,
I'm
like
sorry.
to see what
I'm
it's going to
fucked.
look like.
I can't.
Especially if I'm thinking about maybe using it as breeding stock for some kind of project.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what it looks like, what its stance is.
I want to see how long it takes to recover after I top it. I want to see how well the bottom nodes catch up to the top nodes. Like that's what I'm looking for.
I mean, I'm never going to be a Christmas tree guy. You are never going to see me get the one big giant glory bud. That is not me. I don't care. So I judge everything off at least one top. I'm going to top that plant guaranteed at least one time every time, no doubt. So I'm with you on that one, but that's not really, you know, getting crazy with it.
I've lost count sometimes.
Do you ever film? Because a lot of times,
I mean it's either film or I top. It's whoops, okay, cool, got that one.
That depends on what node I'm looking at.
I'm just slowing it down. I'm just slowing that down so I can let everything catch up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like my
if I don't want it, I'll cut a section right away. It can go if it's too wide. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I have control of that.
About that, man. I am terrible about that.
You'll get over it.
No, I won't. I've been doing this for a long fucking time, man. And I'm still wary about how much to take off the bottom of that damn thing. I'm like, it'll make it up there. It'll make it up there. I'm halfway through flower. It's flopping damn near on the ground. It's nowhere near the canopy. And I'm like,
energy wasting bastard.
I could probably tuck it up in there, right? Yeah, I can do this.
Totally.
Yeah, no, that's me. Every fucking time.
Blasphemous.
Another zip tie, bend that thing over. Yeah,
bro, I got those ceiling yo-yos, man. I'll hang every goddamn thing up. I will get it up there. Yeah, I'm bad about that, especially if I'm in like if my second and third run, I'm where profit's at. You know, I put that bitch in a scrog net and I start doing some crazy. I'm getting a flat canopy across the whole thing. I'm pushing the shit out of it, and I very, very frequently
will overstuff my canopy.
My goal is keep the nodes as close as possible. I try to keep my nodes as close as possible. Don't get me wrong. I have my lazy moments, and then I can see it, and I'm like, I knew you're gonna fucking regret that. You should have just fucking topped that when you seen it like 2 days ago. But whoops.
Yeah, live and learn. My happy canopy is scrognet, totally spread out, every hole filled. It goes back to just making the most of every inch you have. Sometimes you can fill it with 4, sometimes you just need 1 to fill it. But yeah, I love plugging all the holes and bending. I have my scrognet's not really a net, it's more of a like rubber coated wire. So I can take full branches and just bend them over under there, which is nice because then you get all the lateral growth going up, and it's almost like a Jenga puzzle game you can play sometimes. How can I fill out my canopy?
So you reuse that scrog, do you, Chad? You reuse that? You reuse the scrog netting?
Yeah, that is one difficulty with
that.
the permanent one. You have to, it makes harvesting a little more interesting. But I'll just go down to the bottom of the thing and cut it off, and it's it's got another branch, so I can just hang it up.
Oh, of course, yeah. No, it'd work fine. Yeah, usually I just hang the whole plant, but you could do it that way just as easily. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to hang the whole plant, and if I still can, then I do. But yeah, when it's too big to come back through, I just have to chop it.
Yeah, cool.
I never could get down with the permanent scrog screen. I can't handle not whole plant hanging, man. I just can't handle it. It drives me insane.
Yeah.
And it bit me in the ass last time because I packed my scrog way too tight, and then I did not pay attention when I harvested, and I just let it all sit there. So luckily, I only lost about an ounce from some bad practice. Live and learn. Don't be a dipshit. But I have the whole plant, man. Gotta hang it all together.
Yeah.
Tell me, Chad, is there a story about the Twin Peaks there?
Twin Peaks, I'm a huge Twin Peaks fan, the show from the 90s. I grew up in the area right by there, so we spent a lot of times like taking shrooms at the bottom of Snoqualmie Falls, which is the lodge and stuff. A lot of times spent in the woods there.
Cool.
And so that's kind of like a little ode to it, but really at the end of the day, to get technical, it's like pretty much everything we're smoking is a hybrid these days. And there used to be the indica high and the sativa high, and I'm just kind of like, it's basically subjective by body type and ECS these days. So I kind of like, Twin Peaks cannabis, it's kind of like the best of both worlds there. It's the Twin Peaks of each of the two. And that's how I kind of relate it or turned it into kind of a cannabis thing. It's just the Twin Peaks there.
Cool. Right on.
Yeah.
Hey, while it's on my mind, can I ask you for your social media addresses? Where can we find you on Instagram and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I'm only on Instagram, and that was something that I kind of just did to be able to get a hold of people because everybody seems to be there. But thank you for asking. It is chad.westport at Instagram. So that's a great way to get a hold of me. I answer all my emails and stuff. So that's how to hit me up.
Oh, you don't want to give me that kind of information, man. I'll be asking you that what's your favorite animal? Oh, you already answered the giraffe.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are we getting your coordinates?
Right.
Okay. If this is the state of Washington, okay, with Seattle over here.
Washington is definitely a middle finger.
Wait, Spokane up here. Okay, where are you?
I am about 2-minute walk from being in the ocean. So I'm as far
Nice.
to the coast as you can get.
Oh,
He's about like the thumb knuckle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thumb knuckle.
Cool. You can hear the ocean then, eh?
Oh yeah, definitely. I can hear the ocean. Used to tell if it's high tide or low tide. I'm like, do I go surfing? Okay.
Oh, nice. Nice. Now there's the San Juan Islands up there. Is that far from where you would be?
Yeah, the San Juan Islands they're up north. They're almost like in Canada. There's like Vashon, Whidbey Island. Orcas Island is the one that I would go to a lot, though. They're great camping, great state parks up on Orcas Island. Vashon, though, has a pretty rich history with cannabis. There's a lot of decent people and growers that live out there, and also some scientist guys even come out from there.
A few smugglers, I would imagine.
Yeah, a few. There's a few. Island life, right?
Yeah, cool.
So you know what I was thinking?
Rick's looking for a hookup.
I don't think we discuss. I'm curious about your personal grow. Like, what kind of equipment do you use? What kind of area you run in? Amendments, all that good shit, man. I want to know about that real quick.
Yeah, definitely.
I've been on here the whole time, didn't ask.
I thought he said he didn't grow at his home.
Not outdoors.
My bad.
Yeah.
He does indoors.
I do indoor here, and it's limited by plant count, so
Okay.
I'm working within that. I have a couple 3x3 rooms that I do flowering in right now. That was kind of my perpetual. I had a few tents that I do seeds in, but those are now going to switch over to veg, so I can kind of flower in both of those. So 3x3 rooms, basically running LEDs in each of the rooms. I ran the HPS for the longest time in flower, and about 3 runs ago, I switched over to LED. Energy savings is there. I'm still dialing in the food a little bit. It's a little bit different than the HPS, but I think overall, like per watt, my harvest is definitely better.
About how many watts do you use in your 3x?
Right now, 356. So 350 basically. Got that in there, and then I'm looking to get a couple more, because it's technically underpowered. It's maybe 500 to 1,000 ppfd is the goal, and it's over the 500 ppfd even in the corners. It could be amped up, but with a small space like that and a low headroom as well, you have to deal with footprint and you have to deal with the heat.
How far would the light be from the canopy? The light from the canopy?
I'm trying to run it no closer than 12 inches. 18 would be ideal, but I kind of did play around with it with the run that got kind of away because it was delayed to get in there. Some of them grew tall. And again, that kind of experimental mind, I'm like, okay, well, what is going to happen when it's 4 inches off the bottom of this light? That arm didn't turn out good. It told me or showed me why you want to keep a certain distance. So yeah, it's that experiment. Because again, if that were my HPS, I knew it would have burnt it to a crisp. So I already knew the answer there.
You got to grow to your environment.
I had a 3x4 that I was running like 480 watts in, and I have a plant that apparently hates light. I had to turn it down by half for that plant to get happy. And then that son of a bitch shot up, stretched. It fucking loves it. But it also is growing around the outside of the light, and the middle is still pissed off.
Sounds like you might have photon shocked that thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I pissed it all kinds of off.
At least you know it.
I fucked this one up, man. I ain't no lie there. That's why I got to run it again. But it's still gonna put out good shit still. I mean, it's only, it still looks good. Finally, once I figured out that I was really pissing it off.
Right.
So,
and doing that, I'm using 3-gallon containers. which again is why I'm not really doing a lot of the living soil inside. Living soil is harder to do in a smaller container like that. It's almost not, I'm not going to say it isn't worth your time, but it is what it
save
is.
any time for sure, because
Yeah.
there's still so much work involved in keeping that 3-gallon pot fed.
And happy throughout the whole run. It's harder. It's easier when you have a bigger battery. It's easier to get everything right when the battery's bigger, soil's bigger, you can put more charge. But also I use the 3-gallon pot just for size management. Again, if I were to put it in a 5 or a 7-gallon, the root zone's going to get bigger. It's going to expand. It's going to be too big of a plant for my space. It's kind of one of those funny things. It's like I try to actually find ways to keep them smaller or growing in a particular fashion instead of, just big bush. I want it more like this so I can put rows like that in my space.
I'm the complete opposite. I flower out 3 and 15 gallons and they're like fucking that wide, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's just the style I do. But I'm going to change it up just so I can do like, I'm going to try to 6 and 5 gallons the next run. So just out of curiosity, I'm a curious individual. I want to see how it works out. Okay.
And those are awesome. Everybody wants to grow the big plants like that. That would be the goal. If I didn't have a mother-in-law that came over, I would have this whole room with lights in it and I could grow the same amount of plants, but just that bigger. It's like the only problem with plants that big is when you have to trim them. They're freaking awesome. They're great to have.
Let me like add this though. Like sometimes I'll have like, because I'll do the 3, I'll have like 8 or 9 plants in veg, and then I move 3 in the flower, and then 2 go for the 3 go for the 2 months, and then next thing you know, 3 have gone for fucking 6 months. So I've been topping the shit out of this thing for 6 months to keep it at a goddamn height. So that's the only reason why my plants are so big, is because sometimes I'm a little too far ahead. So that's another reason why I should probably at least jump down to 7 gallons, so I could probably cram a few more in there instead of just the 3.
A little better.
I mean, I don't have to water as much, dude. You guys are watering fucking, like, I water every 3 fucking days. 2 if they're really kicking.
Very often.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go so hard in veg either with light. In veg, they don't need to be blasted with light.
They're on the T5s.
Yeah. So
I know they're there for 3 months at least.
Yeah, the only problem I hate is how stretchy they get if you don't, add. If there's like this happy medium of skinny, stretchy little bitches, and slowing them down.
You still have to feed them right. Otherwise, they will get stretchy. I mean, you can cut back on the feeding, but some things will. If you don't give them enough food, they'll get stretchy, and that's counterproductive to what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I've even noticed, if you try to feed them a little heavy, like say mixing some microbes or, brewing some of your, micro teas or, some of your labs or something, and you give it that week, and you kind of unlock its ability to fucking jump up on accident, and you weren't even thinking about it. You were just trying to keep your shit happy, and you're like, oh, could you just use a few microbes? It'll be okay. Yeah, and then it fucking stretches out of fucking control on you.
You're kind of like, damn it, but you also have that proud parent moment of, you're like, look at him go.
yeah, it's such a fine line to walk that pisses you off and makes you proud all at the same time.
What the fuck am I gonna do with these now?
Then that's when the question comes up.
Yep.
Well, fuck. That's when you just start fucking recloning the fucking clone so that you can fucking take that clone and chuck it and put a different one there.
Yeah, I got one in veg right now that I'm just like figuring out I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. It's just getting bigger and bigger, and I keep on topping it, and it's just, I'll figure it out.
I have perpetually cloned something. It got, it would get like fucking 2 foot tall. I'd just take fucking 5 clones off it, throw it in. Then it'd get fucking, 3 foot tall again. I'd chop those down, fucking make clones. And it went into flower like a year later after doing this shit. I probably recloned it every 2 weeks.
Gotta do it, man. Sometimes, because I don't keep mothers. I'll go, clone to clone to clone. As long as you keep your plants healthy, disease and pest free, it will always be as good as the mother was.
Absolutely.
So I just go clone to clone, but still dealing with the plant count and stuff. Like right now, while I'm stopping doing what I'm doing, but I'm keeping my males. So that's something that will probably be sitting in the side tent, getting cloned after cloned after clone, just not in use, but still. Well, I might keep them. I might, how growers go. Oh, look, there's a hole in the corner there. I could put a tent. So I might get a tent just to like pollinate it out and keep the pollen. But yeah, otherwise the males are just gonna kind of keep getting cloned and sitting there until I feel like doing something with them again. Because I don't want to get rid of them. I can't get it back.
Yeah.
I got a few.
The hard part is how do you keep under plant limit? When they got stupid plant limits that they don't understand, and you're trying to keep a male around of all things.
Yeah.
Fuck up your plant count for a few males. Like that's yeah.
One
Old
of the
school growers are losing their goddamn mind over shit like that.
I got a few strains I've kept around for 5 years by handing it to a few of my friend growers. They'll run it for a while. I get to play with some new shit. I can bring it back, play with it.
Few of my grower friends who I'm going to say, hey, would you pass this male around for me?
No, not males.
No, they're not
females. If I said that to them, they'd fucking slap me.
I would actually look at you with serious consideration and actually say, what do you got? Because
you got to know your audience.
Especially if someone like Chad Westport's offering me a male clone, odds are it's going to be something good. So I'm damn well listening. You know what I mean? Like,
things got too many balls to deal with. I can't handle it.
I offered it. I did offer it to 2 different people. They're both just kind of medical patients that I worked with. Nobody that's really like in the scene or anything per se, so I'm not really worried about that male getting out and getting used at a commercial facility or anything, which is always a concern. But yeah, they kind of looked at me like, why would I want that? I'm like, you ever want to try making seeds? They're just like, I'm not ready for that yet. I'm just like, oh, but you are. Like people accidentally seed their crops all the time. It is not hard to do. The process and the foresight is where the breeding and the difficult part comes in. But as far as actually pollinating something, dude,
super easy.
Yeah, happens accidentally all the time.
Well, has anybody actually gotten like excited like little kid on Christmas the first time they actually grabbed or harvested seeds that they purposely pollinated for? Because that's how I was when I did my Chemdog Afghani cross originally. It was like, wow, just like in my ex-wife is just like staring there at the time, just like rolling her eyes, just like a freaking slot machine pinwheel, right at the absurdity of how happy I am. But like to me, it was the coolest thing because like I made life right there. And then I remember growing the F1 generation out. And I was pulling 12-gram dried cola buds off of those, right? Topping them so that they would branch out to form more like a chandelier style stance or whatever, menorah, whatever. I forget the term. I don't mean to be disrespectful. You know what I mean? But like that to me, 12-gram buds, especially at that time for my very first breeding project for Chemdog Afghani, that was huge. So yeah, like those seeds, I remember that. Anyone else?
Are you kidding? I mean, I think anybody who was a breeder that knows me got a text today of me dropping pollen on shit with the biggest. Yes, everybody. I'm just now in my first breeding go around, and yeah, man, I'm like a fucking kid. I'm throwing fucking pollen. I'm trying to collect that shit. I was even like freaking out a little bit because I'm pretty sure I pollinated every fucking thing I got on accident, but because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I did not prepare for that fluffy ass shit to be everywhere.
Well, yeah,
I did have a water bottle with me though, and I sprayed the fuck out of everything.
What I would recommend is if you got multiple tent situation going on, play with your like your good stuff, your smokable flower. Play with that stuff first, and then go into your mail room. where your breeding room, because otherwise you could get the pollen on you and then go into your good smokable females and pollinate the shit out of that by accident.
I've done that, man. Like I have done that. It went out of a room, down a hall, around a corner, through the garage door, around another corner, through another door, into these separate doors in my old house of the garage grow. And it pollinated all of my like flowering plants. I had the ones to seed inside in a room, and I had the ones outside. And dude, yeah, I had seeds in everything. That in my mind, just it blew my mind how far and easily pollen can and will travel, because it wasn't one seed, it wasn't two seeds, it was seeded.
Hey, man, that's when you just tell all your friends that you got this fire bud that you just bred, and man, I got free seeds for it, but don't worry about it, man, because I'm hooking you guys up. You got to make it sound good, you know, like you did that shit on purpose.
For real. Yeah, I mean, no complaints there. I still have a jar sitting. I looked at it the other day because I'm about to make some more ice hash, but I keep thinking I'll go through it and pull the seeds from it. It's a jar from 2016. It's just sitting there. It's the Agent Jack, which was it's a cross of Agent Orange and Jack's Cleaner 2 from TGA. Oops.
Do you like that
start
cleaner
again?
terp?
What's that?
Are you a fan of the cleaner, that cleaner terp?
Yes. Like
the one I'm not a fan of myself. I don't know. My buddy had a Jack, and it was one of those cleaner terp, and I don't know. That's just one. Like that's one of the, and something in the Skywalker. I'm not a huge fan of either. It's one of like it's there in the Skywalker, but I can't remember exactly what it is. But that cleaner was one that I hit it, and I was just like, oh shit! It like tastes like fucking floor cleaner. Like I would imagine it tastes, you know, like they clean your school with or something like that, like that linoleum cleaner.
Like Lemon Pledge, a lot of people were like,
Lemon Pledge. I can deal with that. That's cool. I like that. But like I don't know. Maybe it took me back to school, and I just didn't like school or something.
that like astringent alcohol smell. This one, it was really lemony, but it was a really sharp lemony. Like it was like a cleaner, like under the sink type of cleaner lemon to it. And it was so like oh god, it was fucking great. But the terps were so volatile in it. When I'd be curing it and jar it, it would eat the rubber band along the top of the ball jar. It was just that acidic or whatever. But yeah, the lemon terps would eat that rubber band, and it's been a few years since I've grown that. I still have some of the original TGA seeds to go back to it, and that might be happening soon. But I do have one of the crosses I made with it growing right now, so we'll see how that turns out as well.
Speaking of a cleaner, there was actually a question in chat from Stony Rockefeller asking, what kind of conditioner do you use? Is it Soul Glow? Like, what's going on here?
It's actually called Hemp's, man. It is hemp. It's a hemp-based shampoo, and it fucking rocks. Thank you, Stony.
You don't have to make your own. He's got to make his own.
Yeah, Hemp's, HEMPZ. I should really hit them up for a sponsorship, man. They're missing out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice.
Hey,
You got to do me one favor
you
too.
Want to do some shout outs tonight?
Yeah, first of all, I want to shout out Bees. He's in chat right now. So what up, Bees? We love you, buddy. But yeah, so I smoke way too much pot, and I do not no planning at all for the show pretty much, and I do stupid shit like forget to thank our Patreon contributors. In a pay tier, which we have actually named Say My Name Bitch, because we're supposed to be friendly, letting people know who these people are. So hey, I'm gonna get to that right now. So these are our Patreon contributors. First of all, we got Canada's Finest, local caribou grower here. He was on our show a few weeks back. We got Stony Rockefeller, drummer for Catachronic. He's in the chat hanging out with us right now. Right, wrote some kick-ass music for this show and for the Michigan Bros show. So check those guys out, Catachronic. We got Crazy Pop Mom. You know, she's hanging out in the chat with us. She's awesome. You can check her hanging out with us every Friday night. We got Raider Dank Vader for you, and you know he doesn't like to show his pretty face too often, but he's an awesome guy. We all love him. You can check him out in chat pretty much just about every show. And Hypothetical Genetics. He's here whenever he's able to make it. He's a busy man. What can you say? But you'll be able to see him June 23rd next Wednesday when we throw our breeders panel that we're going to be putting on. And I believe you're going to be with us for that one too as well, aren't you, Chad?
I am looking forward to it. I can't wait to talk more breeding with you guys. Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be a great one. So rounding out that panel, we should have Rasta Jeff, Miss Jill, Jinx from Jinx Proof, Hypothetical. We got Old School Chronic, and then myself. So that should be one hell of a time. We got Sequence from the Michigan Bros Grow Show. He's agreed to moderate that for us because I just kind of want to sit here and talk and learn about breeding. I don't want to have to worry about sitting in this seat right here. And then I think we're going to get Prophet and Sam monitoring the chat and just making sure we get every single chat question that they want to ask, because there's going to be a lot of knowledge that can be dealt out for this show. So, you know, let's make sure we get everybody. And
I can't wait to even just sit there and chat for this show. It's gonna be good.
And what time is it? What time is it going to be aired?
Okay, so that's going to be at 5 p.m. Pacific. So that'll be next Wednesday. So it's a little bit different time, a little bit different day than our usual show, but I didn't want to take away from our usual weekly shows. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for this. And then hopefully once all these awesome people are stepped onto our show for a little bit and they see what we're all about, maybe we can get them all back for some solo interviews, and maybe we get Chad back again, because this has been a great time. We'd love to have you back again, Chad. This has just been great.
Oh God, Chad's still here. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That guy's such a Chad. We should take him out back and beat him up.
Where did that come from? Oh my God.
No, we were just going to drop you off somewhere.
Hey, it's been a pleasure to meet you, my friend, and hearing your story, man.
It's been really fun. It's one of those things. It's like, this could go on forever, and I'd enjoy it. So yeah, thank you guys for having me on, and I definitely love to do it again, because I don't know, you feel like you just barely scratched the surface. We're what, couple hours into it already, and it still feels like it's fresh.
Yeah,
I know. Right on.
So thank you, guys.
One thing I do love about the
Thank you.
Future Cannabis Project, me being somewhat new, extremely new in the grow game and stuff like that, is just when I first started listening to it, it's like I was like, man, what the hell are they talking about? As I like hear more and more, things are just connecting all over the place, and it's just through information like that, through channels like that you help out and stuff like that. It makes that information readily available. Because when you hear about it, it's a lot different from like reading it. I can read about shit all day, but I might not be able to comprehend it, as well as when somebody's talking about it firsthand experience and stuff. So,
I just love when he watches your guys' show and then he calls me, and then I have to be like, all right, now hold on, you're not ready for that part yet, but did you listen to this part? Because that part you need to know, like, do that shit. And he's like, well, I already fucked that one up. And I was like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great because you guys do so much in every spectrum. There is something there for everybody to learn.
I'm going to have to check that out, man. I'm going to totally check your channel out. You seem huggable. I could totally dig watching you.
You start out with grabbing my boobie, and now you want to hug. It should be the other way around, man. I don't know where you grew up.
Do we see Dave's jealousy just a fucking bubbling right now?
Dave's jealousy.
I gotta agree that I'm a very visual learner myself too. It's like I have the books and I can read the books, but it takes me 3 or 4 times, and a lot of times I know the concept and I know where to go find it. It's not always retained, but if you show me, very visual learner, I can learn it the first time, so I do kind of like having that outlet too. And again, smart people will recognize the genius of somebody else and not necessarily know how it applies yet. Like a lot of the shows, I'm right there with you guys. I'm watching these things, I'm like, haploid, diploid, whatever. I don't really know what that means. You do it enough times and you're putting that word into the sentence. So it's like you're learning it all. Our eyes can take in so much stuff that it doesn't even send to the brain, but eventually you recognize what that pattern is. And yeah, it's just, you just put in the time, put in the work, and be curious.
Well fucking said, man. Fucking love that.
Thank you, man.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I agree, man. I've learned as much teaching people and repeating myself and then having to figure out how to explain it to people. I've learned more doing stuff that way than, a lot of other ways.
Teaching it is one of the harder things to do. There's a lot of things like I'll understand and I'll know why I do it, but I have a hard time verbalizing it. So that's another thing that I really love about the show and doing a lot of, talking. It's like it reinforces my knowledge to be able to express it in a way that other people can understand. And it really does. That's the cement in your like education and your knowledge, and it's always growing. But yeah, when you can teach somebody the fundamentals like that, you've got that down.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, teaching should be part of the whole, grow game in the first place. That forces you to, just stay sharp on your basics. And more people fuck up the basics than anything. Even the super seasoned growers, when you see them fuck something up major, it's something you're like, really, dipshit? That's how you did that?
And we all do it, man. We all do it. Some of our worst mistakes are the most basic lessons.
Yep.
Bucky says that he likes teaching people, but I'm gonna call his bluff on this one because he says like, "Oh, DP's phone calls are all cute and all that at 10 o'clock at night." Well, guess what? I'm just starting a living soil grow on my own, so I'm 2 hours behind you in terms of time zones. So at 10 o'clock at night, just when you're done with DP, about 2 hours after that, you're gonna start getting phone calls from me. You go, "Hey, Fluff, what did I fuck up? Hey, well, look at this picture right here. Hey, I got a video right now. That little bit of black and dark that you have in here, it's gonna be shot."
Oh, that's going away, huh?
It's gonna take the rest of it. It's gonna be about as white as the plant behind you, so at least you'll look nice and sparkly.
You're gonna be
like
proper
one of those
fucked.
vampires from the movie or something like that. It'll be great.
Oh, whoa. Hey, if we're gonna be vampires, we're gonna be cool, awesome medieval vampires. We are not gonna be sparkly little bitches. All right.
Oh, you're gonna shine like diamonds, you know it.
They filmed Twilight about 2 hours north.
I always thought, I am a nerd for vampires, man. I love the theory, everything about vampires, man.
I
love it. And then
the
Twilight
Vampires
came out, and I was
Chronicles were
like, you
amazing.
found the one. Like, I will watch Vampire Diaries. I swear that is made for 13-year-old girls, and it's still, I'm still down with it.
I can't do that.
Shit, I can't believe I admitted that.
I can't do that.
Hell no. I can't.
My old lady's sitting here right behind
my
me.
girl,
Couldn't
my
watch
wife
it.
made me go to all the Twilights, but in all fairness, I also submitted and went to all the fucking 50 Shades of Grey, which I'm not proud of, but.
Hey guys, can we get serious for 1 sec? Chad, if you could be any horror monster throughout history, which one would you be?
Ooh. In my head, Creature from the Blue Lagoon popped into my head instantly, just because it's a badass kind of classic sea monster character. But if I had to answer like my favorite character, it would be Freddy Krueger. That's easy.
He was pretty badass.
Hold on, I think we need this from the whole panel. Let's go. Prophet, get some.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
He's like, which one?
Hey, well, who's got something? Who's got something? Come on.
Okay, I'll go with Jason Voorhees. He's got to be my guy. The Friday 13th movies were my absolute favorite movies, period, growing up. In terms of horror, old school horror monster, I think I'd go with the Wolfman.
Okay. So since we're on it, did you watch the Jason vs. Freddy movie?
Oh, fucking right. I own it. Absolutely.
Okay.
I bought it the day it came out.
I own it in 3D on Blu-ray. God damn it, special edition.
No laser disc.
Bro, they don't make that in Laserdisc, bro. Dude, I am totally Pinhead. Fucking
Yeah.
love Pinhead.
That's
I love
pretty
the
tight.
fact he's got the minions behind him. He's just so evil. It was either that or the tall man from Phantasm.
Okay, yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I really don't either.
Phantasm was that little shiny ball. It was a little shiny ball, and the tall man was the guy who controlled the orb.
Okay. I'm sure if I saw a picture, I'd be like, that okay.
Yeah. Well, most
All
people,
right.
you know, it's a very, it's not one of the more popular horrors, but I love that shit.
I mean, I guess I'd be a critter, and I would probably pick Dracula just because, like I said, I am a vampire fan. If we were going with classic, you know, he was suave and he pretty much got whatever he wanted. I could dig that. And he lived forever.
Wait, are you like Bela Lugosi? Like 'cause
Bram
that motherfucker
Stoker.
was not suave.
No, I'm talking Bram Stoker's. We're going. Come
That
on.
was a good movie.
You're going. What's that?
You guys have like taken some of the best ones already, but I see Prophet as more of like one of those ghoulies, one of those ones that comes up through the toilet and like eats.
That's the one I was
love
thinking
the
about.
ghoulies.
Okay. A ghoulie.
Critters from the 80s.
Wait, which one comes from the
Both
toilet?
of those are great.
Which one
There's
comes from the
also-
toilet?
There was also Chud, which if you ever want to watch bad horror movies, do it. It's CHUD, the cannibalistic human underground dwellers.
I think I might have seen that. Do you guys
For
remember
my-
These were
the
these were
The
such
Human
great movies.
Centipede or something. I've
The-
heard about that one. I haven't watched it, but I heard it's pretty.
What was it?
The Human Centipede.
Oh, dude,
no.
that's gangster. If you watch that, like,
Everybody's
it-
fucking face that's seen it. I haven't seen it.
it's gonna warp your fucking mind.
I've heard
man.
about it. That's fucked.
You should watch it.
It's like Two Girls, One Cup. I know what it is. I've been told about it. Have I watched it? No. Will I ever? No.
I did.
Probably. I bet you got it on like.
And I watched part 2. I had to.
One of the best recent terrible fucking movies ever, if you can find it, is called Zombievers.
I remember
Fucking
that.
amazing.
I've seen that.
Well, now
Fucking
you
amazing
caught my
movie.
attention.
Have any of you ever seen the movie Rubber?
No.
Dude, don't
Maybe
even
that's
talk
the-
about that disappointment of fucking life. I
Wow.
sat through that sitting
Got
there,
upset.
hoping,
You just got
praying
triggered
something was going
for
to
me.
happen, and that fucking movie ended. I was so mad.
I hate movies like that.
So fucking mad.
Excellent fluff.
Do you remember The Gate? It's an older
Yes,
movie.
Yes, I
Stephen
do.
Dorff.
Dude, that shit scared me when I was a kid. It was a fucked up movie. Opening the gates of hell and shit.
That movie was great, but I just want to point out that I think that was the angriest we've ever seen fluff, period, on this. Fucking raging about that movie.
He said that name of the movie and fluff instantly when he fucking.
We should have kept talking about it. He would have went in an absolute meltdown.
Boy,
Well, that's
That's
his
all
spirit
I gotta
animal
say
is the
about that.
tire from Rubber.
I got it. I guess I've got to make a correction. Stony Rockefeller, help me out here. He's like, dude, Black Lagoon, Blue Lagoon.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I didn't want to say anything. I let it roll.
Yeah.
It's totally right.
I'm like, we're
You're
stoners.
the
Fuck
guest
it.
here.
I
You can't
heard
just be
black.
like, yo, nah.
Yeah, I didn't want to blow up your spot. I'm like,
Yeah.
let him roll.
It's all good, man.
Maybe I secretly let my favorite movie slip. I don't know.
Hold on,
We
like,
know what you were
but,
smacking
like,
to back in the day.
Two girls, one
Yeah.
cup. Yeah,
Blue Lagoon sounds more like, you know.
Can anybody else totally?
Yeah.
Can
Teenage
anybody
Brooke
else totally
Shields?
see fucking Red Setter Farms as a gremlin? Can anybody totally fucking see that?
Well,
Totally see it.
so we don't get him wet, right? And we can't feed him after
No,
midnight. right?
already in gremlin stage, dude.
Oh, okay. Not a
The white
Mogwai
mohawk?
gremlin. Okay.
Yeah. All man bunned up.
Looking for rocks.
I've never worn a man bun. I want to just say that now, damn it.
thank you.
Never have, never will.
How about a mullet? How about a mullet?
I'll do a mullet if I need to, but I'm not doing a man bun.
Party on, man.
We might think less of you if you did. That's like the one thing that might actually get you made fun of on this show is the man bun.
I would think less of me. When I got my mom one time, she's like, well, why don't you put it back in like a ponytail or something? I'm like, Mom, I'd have to kick my own ass. Come on.
We used to call him.
Come on, I used to have long hair. You got to put it in a ponytail for when you go to work. You know.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's fine.
When
Like,
you're
I'm not
leaning
hating on that,
forward,
but
shit
was
gets
a
in the
lot.
way.
It was a lot shorter, so it was one of those ones that would have like stuck out. Like it
no,
was too short.
You can't
It
do
was
the
too
stick
short.
out. Yeah, you can't do the stick out.
Yeah.
I remember
Fuck
back, you know,
that. I
was
rocked
trying
the
to get my
Samurai
beard all
Jack
doing
one.
good, and I tried to do, you know, the rubber bands in the beard, make the point, you know, like Wayne Static style, you know.
Yeah.
But it was too short. I could get like 2 fucking rubber bands in it. You just look like a fucking idiot. But you commit anyway. Yeah, I feel you, man. You never do the
Dude,
small pony
I
thing.
had the
I had about an 8-inch goatee and was very proud of it. And then I got repelling out of a tree one time.
Oh,
Got in there and took about an inch off of it. Like just and plus a whole shit ton of other hairs that just ripped right out of the roots. Where it was like if it, one of those ones where it forces tears to your eyes. It's like, oh wow. Like almost
that's
like
what it feels like to have your hair ripped out.
So,
And people pay to get that.
I know it's yeah, no, yeah, wow. So now
Hey,
now
how
I'm
many-
throwing it back.
How many people you think like came to this show because they saw Chad Westport's name and thought they were going to get some super informative shit and learned about hair products, horror movies,
Yep.
and whatever this fucking bullshit is happening right now?
Everybody's having.
We're
a good
talking
time.
about a Brazilian wax, actually.
Yeah,
I think.
but on my chin.
I think the expectations are pretty low with me.
Brazilian wax goes.
They know their crowd.
So, Chad, where's you? Do you a Brazilian waxer?
You know, if you shave the bushes, the tree looks bigger.
That's
Facts. That's not even bro science.
And let's be honest, it just feels nice too. You know, you taking a piss and you just rub it a little bit. It feels nice, man.
well, you don't get bitched at for hair.
It's uncomfortably sensitive when you do that. Like fuck, right?
You
It's
get
like,
used to it.
You can't-
big
you can't
bitch.
go to the
cheat
skin,
my
though.
chin
No,
because
you
I don't
can't
like
do
the
it
feel of
once
the
every
wind on
3
it.
months. You got to keep up on your maintenance, man.
You can't. Yeah, you can't go to the skin.
It's
Can't go
a
to the
buzzer.
skin,
It's
that's
a
the trick.
buzzer situation.
Now maybe that was the problem then, because I straight fucking ripped that shit right off. And then the job I was doing in the sawmill I was working at, like you're walking back and forth, like
It's just like a man.
Like 3 days
And,
after
like,
you shaved nuts, it's the worst.
Damn near
putting a
blistered.
10-hour shift at the mill, walking back and forth all day, and I'm walking there like a little kid that just pissed himself when I get home. And it makes it look like a little fucking worm. Somehow, like the package looks bigger for everyone else once you shave the bush. Mine actually shrunk. I'm pretty sure it was like girlfriend said it was a good size, and so I think that means she was lying.
It didn't have the hair to keep it warm, so it shriveled
I
up.
know, right? It's instead of an outie, all of a sudden I had an innie or like a 2/3 or whatever.
2/3.
You were turtle heading just out of the wrong end.
Only in Canada, eh?
I should have maybe clenched my ass cheeks a little tighter, and it would have forced it back out the front. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, dude, you're in Canada. I would have never shaved that. Fuck that. I would
Well,
build a bush.
that's my solution to that now, because it ain't happening anymore. Because I'm scared. That was a horrifying experience.
I don't care how much hair you're pulling out of your teeth. All right.
Hey man, it's just like edibles. Start low, go slow.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I never thought an analogy for
Are you telling them to start at clip 8?
my balls, but I'll dig it. This is the right show to bring that kind of topic up.
Start at clip 8. See how you feel.
Always bringing the knowledge. All right, that's what that's about.
Oh yeah,
that was.
Yeah.
Was that in a white paper?
Now you look at our views, and it's like it went from 55 to 20.
Fuck that. You know how many people that's a good idea.
They're all off air right now.
This is gonna be
Wait. It makes it look bigger? Oh shit.
Well, what we'll do, Chad, you should hold on the maybe, I don't know if you want to do it on the Future Cannabis Project or open up your own channel. Hell, you can come do it here. We'll have Chad's hair grooming tips right here. It'll be hair up here, down there. Fuck, it'll be great.
Trimming with Chad.
Yes. Yes.
On today's episode, we're gonna braid our hair.
Hey,
we're this happy little strand right here.
Oh shit. Hey, listen, we got a question from chat here. Raider wants to know.
We're all nuts.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
Okay, so ask the
Like
question.
a roll of dimes.
The island question, buddy.
Brooke Shields.
Oh, what's your island strain?
Oh, that one.
No,
Yeah,
if you were,
I asked his favorite before, I believe, but go ahead.
Oh no, the island strain is a different conversation. It gets
Yeah,
way
all right.
serious when you talk about only getting one.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
only get
God.
one. We're gonna drop you with the it's dropped off magically, or you open a fucking box. All right, you don't have to do anything. All you're gonna do, it's the
Just
one
grows there
strain.
wild, all right? It's just what
Yeah,
it is.
it's just there. Okay.
Yeah.
Stop
Cured and
overthinking
everything.
it, Prophet. Let the man answer.
I'm gonna go with Agent Orange or a mimosa. Something that's fruit and something that's a little bit tropical, because that's a good like daytime motivated, get stuff done kind of strain or terpene profile for me. I think if I had like the gas, which I love, on an island, I wouldn't get much done, and I'd probably be pissed off about the
What
whole
are we gonna
situation.
do on the island? I mean, I think we're just smoking weed on the island. All
Yeah,
day.
this island better
I don't
be
think
hooked
there's
up.
anything to do.
Yeah,
Dude, we're Tom Hanks
This is-
surviving.
this is paradise. You know, you
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, I mean, they're just dropping.
You don't worry about the
dropping
small
fucking
shit.
coconut with umbrellas in it for
Yeah.
you to fucking drink on the set. You know, this is heaven fucking island
Yeah.
strain. So
You don't have to
what
worry
is
about
the
obtainium.
ultimate- Yeah,
Building
we don't have to worry
hot.
about doing shit. Like, what is just the one?
Yeah, I think it would be the Agent Orange. That just might be where I'm at right now. I've been really gassy and funk flavored for the last few years. So again, switching it up right now, I just want some fucking fruit, like straight fruit in my mouth. No jokes. But
Banana.
but that's just what I'm craving right
show,
now. I'm on like 2 or 3 years cycle. I'll kind of go like back and forth. And sometimes I'm either ahead or I'm behind. Like I was way into the fruitier stuff before it was very common. And that's what I was breeding for. It was a lot of the OGs and a lot of the kushes. I was like, no, man, this is the future. Of course it was. But as soon as it became popular, I started getting really into the OGs and the kushes. So I went backwards on the timeline. And now, now I'm kind of coming back. Like I just want something to freaking like starburst in my mouth again. So that's why I'm going with the Agent Orange there. It might be current bias.
To understand, it's hard to do. I mean, when you go back, because you go through phases, like times of your life. You know, those different times of life require a whole different strain.
Well, it's just like, think about music, right? It's the same kind of thing where some of my very favorite bands will say like Megadeth, Pantera, Black Label Society, and Aerosmith. Those are my 4 favorite bands. Are kind of all in a one-way tie sort of thing. I don't listen to all 4 of those bands constantly though, right? Because there's just so many other, and you just kind of cycle through. One day I'm listening to country rap music, or next day it's death metal. It's the same thing with weed, but just not a daily change necessarily, right? It's changes like weekly or monthly or whatever.
I'm going I guess I'm going from Metallica to Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah. You left the speechless with that one.
Yeah.
Even Prophet didn't know what to say. That's fucked up.
I'm sorry.
Somebody timestamp this video.
We will. I actually, you know what? That's a good point. I'll fucking put that up, just a clip of that on YouTube.
You better add the fact that he admitted he went from that to Taylor Swift, because.
Hold on. You know what? If that's what he's playing his plants, I think it's okay.
Yeah, well, you know.
I'm gonna start rocking some of the T-Swizz down up in that bitch.
Dude, whatever. You gotta be new. You have new kids on the block all day. I know
man,
you.
if they need to be hanging tough, all right. If they need a little fucking encouragement, they can.
NKTOB.
You got the right stuff.
that was my NKTOB.
That was my gang sign.
I think you better just do the timestamp from where this started until the end.
We have people in chat battling about NSYNC being better, and then
Katy Perry is a way better artist than Taylor
Swift.
Swift.
Be like,
everybody
kids on the
knows
hoop. Yeah.
Is that actually going on in chat right now? Seriously?
I don't know.
Well, I thought we were better than
No,
that.
they're
but now
talking
that it's
about
happening, I'm
nachos.
just like, this is great.
They're talking
Caribou
about
loves
nachos.
Miley
He's sitting like, what the
bias.
fuck is he talking about?
Oh no. Oh shit. I love chat. Chat's great.
They definitely bring a
Hey,
lot of
mate.
life to the party.
I heard you are a cultural club fan.
You said I'm a Culture Club fan?
Yeah, I heard you were big into them.
Karma, chameleon.
Hey, man, what the hell is that exactly?
Red, gold, and green. That's all I know.
Well played.
You knew more about it than I did. Shit.
Oh shit.
Oh, shoot.
You look like you could stand to hang out with Boy George a little bit, especially now.
Oh, hell yeah. I show him a good time.
Yes,
There's some good bars around here.
I bet you would show Boy George.
You would
Yeah.
show him a great time. I'm sure you would.
I bring him to a 7-Eleven, show him where the Twinks are. I mean, Twinkies.
So yeah, the Twinks in the back room.
Twinkies.
So Dave,
I'll show you where that hole is.
That's a nice pic you've got there of the trichomes. What multiply magna?
What magnification is that?
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure it's 20 times. It's a little one of those little clip-ons I put on my iPhone. I'm really high tech with my old school iPhone 7. You know.
Really?
You got that son of a bitch with a clip-on and an iPhone?
Nice.
I sure did.
That's incredible, man.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
That's a good clip-on.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazon, baby. Jeff Bezos and his billions.
I've got some clip-ons, and I've got like the macros and shit. I cannot get one that good, and I think I've got like a 20 times macro also. Yeah, I can't get them fuckers that good. God damn, that's a good picture.
Well, thank you. That's one of my favorite plants too.
I'm taking a bit of a count on the clear, milky, and brown trichomes. I'm going to say there's about 35-40% brown on there.
I wanted to be sleepy.
Hate to see my trichomes, Rick.
Thank you for staring at my glands.
That is a good way to check them, though. If you don't have a jeweler's loop, a lot of times your phone will be the best way to check it. I just actually use my camera, like my DSLR camera, to check my trikes. It's so much easier than cutting a little piece off, putting it under my little loop, and you only have like this big of a sample. The camera, shoot it, blow it up.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you ain't doing that with my phone.
No.
Yeah,
No.
Prophet's still rocking like the old flip.
Yeah,
You
not
need
even
a
that.
macro
Not
for
even
dick
that. I
pics.
got a crack going down the middle of my lens. It's pretty interesting sometimes.
I think you can get. I think I've got a iPhone 10, and I think you can get attachments for that, which are better than the. I got a clip-on. Don't know how to fucking use it. I can't line it up.
I think you clip it on.
Yeah, well, I know, but just lining it up, it doesn't work for me. So I am either I'm going to get I think they've got it's like a camera, and you can have a Bluetooth on your phone, so you can put the camera on the bud and then take a picture of it with your phone, and then you can blow it up from there. And it's quite like over 100, easily over 100.
Sounds like a scope almost.
That would be cool. Sometimes I scare myself though, because you'll see those little hairs that you don't see with your eye, and then you see in the picture there's like a little arm hair, and then you go back and you see it and you're like, oh my God, there's all in my trichomes. Sometimes you find things you don't want to see, no matter how clean you are.
Always a cat hair in mine. Yep. Always fucking have to pick that son of a bitch out.
More and more people are getting into clean, like washing their flour and finding a lot of shit in there. Yeah, and like you say, Chad, you think you're running a clean show, and oh my God.
Yeah, zoom it. And that's another thing too. If you think you're having any kind of pest issues and you still can't just see anything on the underside of your leaf, treat it like a trichome, man. Flip it over, take that picture, blow it up, and then see if you have the creepy crawlies. Because most of them you're gonna see with your eye if you look close enough. And once you've had something once, you'll always see it again. But yeah, until you haven't seen it, that's another just good little tip. And everybody's got it in their pocket. So easy to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So true.
Oh yeah,
so
I remember the first time I saw spider mites so vividly, and what led up to it even more vividly, because I was like, wow, dipshit, the signs were there and you totally didn't see it.
You don't know till you know. That's the thing.
Yep.
That's the thing. And then you're scarred for life afterwards because you think you see it every damn run.
Is that a white dot?
Is that a white dot? One little white spot, and you're like, oh,
is that a white dot?
Oh yeah, that leaf comes off, and fucking 7 others next to it. Fucking scopes every inch of everything. Oh yeah, I get stupid. And yeah, no, it's like a piece of white dust or something.
Totally. You're like, I had dandruff that day. Damn it.
The first time I had spider mites, I didn't really think much of it because I didn't know enough at that point in time, right? And then I think I had Ed Rosenthal's book or another book of the sort. Spider mites are bad, so okay, whatever. I got rid of those, or I think I ended up having to just start over again. Might have been the case. A couple of years later, I think it was, I had a completely different grow area out in the back corner of the shed. And I remember I was gone on must have been a 2-week shift away from work. And I go in back there, and as soon as I open up the door from about 5 feet away, you just see webs all over everything. Like, what the fuck? The best I could think of is I did have a clone that I'd bought from a dispensary of not too long before, right? And in a nice dry atmosphere with very little to no humidity in there, spider mites are just gonna love that, right? So brutal. So that was another tear it down, and that was actually a catalyst for me to try hydroponics for the first time, because I was like, it's clean, fuck that. Because whether it was a dirty clone or I brought it in, I brought it in on a clone, or whether I tracked it in was the other thing. I was like, hey, if it's clean, no dirt surfaces and stuff like that, I'll try and do that. And then hydro just wasn't my thing. I was never able to really do well with it enough to justify making the switch. Now I actually welcome bugs into my garden, not so much spider mites, obviously, but kind of have Fluffy's attitude, just bring them in, see what happens, and find out.
Yeah, like these little bastards right here, man. I love seeing them things in my garden. You kidding me? That's right. And yeah, I mean, I literally took this picture to fuck with some of the clean room people. I'm like, oh yeah, take that.
Yeah, stuff like green lacewings, I'll see those outside somewhat common in our area, and if I can I'll grab them and I'll throw those into my garden now. It's pretty exciting.
Do that. I was mowing the lawn earlier, and I lifted a board and I saw a worm on the top. I was like, "Ooh!" Grabbed it, brought it over to my compost, and put it in.
I replace so many worms in more proper homes in my garden. Yeah, I must look like a fucking idiot to some people.
So here's a pretty good one. When my wife and I split up, I gave my worm bin to my foreman because he was talking about starting a worm bin so he could start selling worms for fishing and stuff like that for bait. Whatever, I just need someone to look after my worm bin. Couple weeks ago, we were out working and it had just rained, and there's worms all over the ground, as you would expect. And there's Rod, because he's older. He's just about retirement age. He's been with the company 30 years, and he's the best they have in terms of trimmers. He kind of just sits and watches while we all work, right? He's earned his right to do that. But the one day he spent the entire day just picking up freaking worms and putting them in this big Tupperware container that was probably about 20 inches long and maybe 8 to 10 inches wide and 3 to 4 inches deep. just stuffing this with worms that he can bring back. And I just snickered because like I started him on that fascination with worms. And they weren't red wigglers that he was picking up. So they're probably the wrong kind for what he's trying to do. But if he can get those to last and do his thing, whatever, it doesn't even matter. It's just the fact that a guy spent pretty much all day picking up worms for a worm collection, right? He wasn't taking them fishing.
Some guys spend all day picking up their worm. That's just the way it is.
I play all day trying to fucking tug it. Yes, like that. Wake it up.
You know, hey, I've done that with the roly-polies and shit. Those things are amazing fucking detrivores. So I grab them motherfuckers. You know, if I see them, I grab them motherfuckers up. I go throw them in my no-till bed, let them just fucking hang out, have a good time. I love seeing life in my fucking soil. I love seeing shit move around. Yeah. And I mean, at some point, I almost think, you know, you want some kind of actual like varmint pest, you know, type to even shit out a little bit, because, you know, you need balance.
You're sick. You're sick, mister.
I know. I got problems.
Listen, I got to get going here. Chad, I really want to thank you for dropping by. Can you okay, your show is first and third Saturday of the month, and what time is it? You didn't tell us what time.
Yeah, thank you. It is 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so 2 p.m. on the West Coast, 5 p.m. on the East Coast, 2200 for our friends over in the UK. Yeah, thank you. It is first and third Saturday of every month on the FCP02 channel, and it's called the Perfectly Imperfect Grow Show, but it tends just to get put up as the Home Grow Show. So it's a show with many names. You can take your pick.
Right on.
That's
great to see everybody in the panel. Thank you for letting me join you, and love you all in chat as usual. You carry the show. Great to see everybody. Good night.
Thanks, Uncle Rick. It's been a pleasure, man. Good conversation. See ya.
Yeah, see, every time I start talking about bugs and shit in my soil, Rick pieces out. He's like, nope, not having any part of this.
Well, he gives him flashbacks to when he had a real bad crab outbreak back in the 70s, man.
Right? Talking about those roly-polies, he was like, oh, hell no.
I think that's like every 10 years for him.
He might be worried about one now.
I think he might have gotten some from Prophet's mom.
I was thinking he was thinking that was you know, he got that bad case of crabs in that 20-year span when he thought he knew Chad.
I'm telling you guys again, if you shave the bushes, the crabs are easier to find.
Yeah. See, around here they're not called crabs, they're called quahogs. All right.
See, bushwhacking with Chad. That's another good name for the show.
Here we go.
But you got to go whacking, bushwhacking.
Whacking.
What?
Like Will Wheaton. Yes.
Nice.
Well, this is great. I guys, I think, should probably maybe follow suit with Rick here, maybe wrap it up. I would still like to go and eat dinner and all that stuff. Chad, this has been awesome. We definitely want to get you back for a part 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, this has been an absolute riot. Everyone in chat, you guys are fucking carrying the show as per usual. Love all you guys. We got Papa Z coming up next Tuesday. So far, I do believe. And after that, Dick Pick, he gets to do the booking and stuff like that for guests again. He was talking about he's going to start taking over that again. He's like, oh shit, deer and headlights look on him. But you did a hell of a job when you were doing that before Sam wanted to start stepping in there before you got busy there. So glad for all the help that I can get in these respects. Thank you for stepping in with that. Really appreciate it. Now, anybody else can want to talk for a little bit as we start wrapping up, feel free.
Real quick, is that what the DP stands for?
Yeah.
You're even cooler.
Yeah, I got it in prison, if that helps.
I don't know if it helps.
That
kind of made it much worse, man.
That's kind of like you get like even more like cool points for that, but then again at the same time, I'm picturing a bunch of dudes standing around.
Why is that? You know, why did that come about in prison? And it's just like not even what anybody's thinking about, but it is. So
it is and it isn't exactly what you think.
yeah, I just like I did art and I like to put penises in people's cards that piss me off a lot and stuff. Yeah. So I hide them and stuff like that. And
he's
find
like
interesting places to put penises in prison. So
I'm so glad I asked. That's awesome. Okay, I'm sorry. Carry on. But I just made the connection, and I'm like, holy yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd stick. Like, yeah. I didn't know. I made like my screen name for cannabis like the second day I got out of the joint. I wasn't thinking I'd like be carrying it on forever and shit. So
you didn't think dick pic would stick.
Come
on.
I didn't think I'd be on YouTube with a nickname dick pic. That didn't happen.
I know the best part was about a week or two after you joined the show, people actually started finding out what DP meant and stuff like that. It was like I just suddenly, I was so happy that I had a friend named Dick Pic. I was like, this is like the greatest thing ever, Chad. I was kind of gleeful like you. Didn't your mom get like, maybe not upset, but like.
No, she doesn't even know yet. I just know my mom.
Dude, I love introducing you to my mother. It was so great. This is my friend Dick Pic.
My mom, when she was in the hospital one time, I made her a cake and it was in the shape of a dick. And like, I put like the frosting for the pubic hair and like the frosting for the vein. I made it very graphic and like she loved it. It was awesome. All the nurses loved it and shit too. So oh yeah, I do shit like that. She loves it.
Dave sitting there in the corner like, fuck, I wish I would have thought about that for my mom.
Yeah, she would love that too. I wouldn't be here.
Hey, Dave just had a birthday. Huh?
I sure did. Thank you.
Old dude now, man.
Happy birthday, Dave.
He's all
Ancient Dave. Ancient Dave.
How old are you now?
I don't want you to guess, so I'll just say it. I'm older than 30. I'm 36.
Okay.
Wow.
I had a feeling I was a little
damn young.
I didn't want to go with maturity because I didn't want to insult you or nothing, but you know.
You were gonna say what? Your age?
Yeah.
Almost. Like, you got me by 5, right?
We need a fucking rim shot for this goddamn show, just for those.
The singers,
right? That or we just need like a Sheldon to fucking give us a bazinga every time.
That's such a good show, though. Fuck.
That might be copywritten.
That's one of my ultimate goals for this show. Has always been ever since before I even started podcasting, is to have some kind of machine where I can hit a button and there's a few different preloaded sounds I can hit in there. And something like that one is because I watch a couple different sports shows and podcasts or whatever, and they have stuff like that for like he shoots, he scores, and like bells and whistle type shit going on. And that'd be awesome for when Rick's talking about Prophet's mom. It's like he shoots, he scores, and ding, 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 ding. You know, that'd be great.
Oh, dude, it should be an easy button.
He shoots, she swallows.
Big easy button on the screen, lighting up like a beacon.
Well, no, the ones that they have from Staples, you just like get it.
I know what you mean. Great. So, but actually, has there been any Prophet's mom was here sightings at all sent in anywhere yet? I was thinking about that.
I'll change my tag up. I'll change it up. I'll make a Prophet's mom was here tag.
Nice.
Chicago, fuck
EP, you were talking about a shirt slogan, just something quick and easy for a batch of shirts that you could do up. There you go. Prophet's mom was here.
All right.
Quick one.
Or
that's
I
certainly
was
quick and easy.
That would work. Or I was in Prophet's mom, but yeah, Prophet's mom was here would definitely work.
And point down to our butthole.
Well, point wherever the hell you want to go.
You know, I've never been a porta potty vandal on, job sites and stuff, but I think it's going to have to start now.
Nice.
Put it right at the glory hole at the job site. All right.
Oh, you know it. You know it.
I'm excited. I told you. I wanted to spread, man. Like herpes.
Yeah, I think it's great. I'm not in the habit of, I got to, because let's say at like 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm not thinking about hashtag profits mom or anything like that. I'm thinking about fuck this. I don't even want to go to work today, but fuck, I gotta piss. I don't want to go in the store, take a piss. So I'm gonna go pee in the bushes over there because it's British Columbia and it's not all just cities and buildings everywhere. We got trees and shit out here. It's really awesome. And so I just go pee in the bush instead of in the building where the COVID and the germs and all that shit is. You know, and so anyways, but once I start breaking my habit of that and going into where the COVID and stuff is in the building where the germs, I'll start hashtagging profits mom is all over the place.
Dude, spray paint it on the side of the road, right on the road.
Carve it in trees.
What you know what would be the best thing ever if we get like to the point where like people are actually like writing that on their asses and then sending pictures of that and profits mom was here. I was be like, holy fuck, what did she?
We can put that on my taint.
Yeah.
That could be the taint tattoo.
Dick tattoos.
Yeah.
Profits mom was here.
Yes. Hey,
That's
Boofers,
dedication.
we're putting the call out to you. Show us how much you love us. Get a Profits Mom tattoo on your schmeckle. Everybody's like, fuck that, man. It ain't worth it.
I wouldn't.
Anymore.
Yeah, everybody's like, you motherfuckers ain't that cool.
Yeah. You're idiots. Not cool. Get it right.
I get kind of. Is it? No, I'm not gonna say.
Dick pic. I was just gonna point out that you were probably thinking about putting one on your pecker, and you just kind of open your mouth.
No, that's like the one spot I was never like curious about. Like, I'm cool. I don't want to tattoo my dick. Like, it just like the skin moves a lot and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, like one line will look like this, and then it'll look like, you know what I mean? Like,
dude, I got racing stripes going down my shaft.
That's when you get.
You're like, your chubby's gonna look different from the fucking full. You know, like it might be, unless you can like do the tattoo to where it like progressively looks different as you get harder. That might look.
When
cool.
I'm
You got to do it hard, man.
Yeah,
That's
when
the
I'm
point.
cold, it says okay.
Hey, does
Yeah.
When I'm excited, it says Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Does anybody else see how mad Chad is at us?
What happened?
Does
That's how
anybody
you
else see how mad Chad is at us?
No.
As we said we were leaving, so everybody said goodbye. They're all pissed off because we're still here. They're all like, I'm fucking saying goodbye again. Fuck you.
I'm sorry.
That's fucking killing me. I'm sorry.
Whoops.
Well, Dave's on the show, and we had to talk about dicks because that's what we do when Dave's around. Let's face it.
What happened?
Yeah, man. Like I was saying, I got racing stripes going down the shaft, and then number 69, like a car.
Okay, so now do you come even quicker than you did before? Now that
No, I'm just always moving, man.
What car is that? A Mini Cooper?
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I'm
fucking stick and move, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That's what he's talking about. You hear
That's
that
it.
shit?
A Ford Fiesta?
They call me the little stinger. You know.
Early the love bug. Oh, fuck. All right, seriously, I got to get up really early and go to work. I really got to go, man. I love you fuckers.
Hey, you get to play with the front end loader tomorrow?
No,
He's the backhoe.
I got to get some work done.
He's the backhoe.
You need a backhoe tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, the girl, huh? Backhoe.
All right, man. You guys ain't going to fucking trick me into staying. Chad, man, it was great hanging out with you, brother. It's a
It was
fucking
a
great
pleasure,
show.
man. Thank you. It's good talking to you.
Yeah, we got to do this again, man.
I'm so glad I don't have work to go to tomorrow. I can stay up late and shit now. And like,
I got to go to work.
Yeah, I got it.
I don't like this work thing. It hurts.
Got like a week off now. I'll be all right.
All right, guys. Let's shut her down. Chad, once again, man, it was awesome having you. We definitely want you back on for part 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. We won't put any kind of cap on that for sure, as long as we keep getting return visits. Everyone in chat, we love you. Sorry for that, but hey, like I said, man, it's Dick Talk with Dave. It has to happen. You can't do it without.
Can't.
No, you can't. All right.
Cheers, everyone. Yeah,
All right,
good
absolutely.
night.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Later,
Always
Chad.
a pleasure, guys. Awesome.
Later, Chad. Dave. DP. Caribou.
Chad, thank you.
Stopped.
Recording.
It stopped, but we're still here.
I'm the host. I'm the host. We're still live.
I'm
we're
getting
still
out of
live.
here.
Oh, shit.
Live, and I just bukkakied myself.
Yeah.
Shit, man. Hey guys, this was really fun, man. It was cool getting to talk to all you guys, and my cheeks fucking hurt from smiling and laughing. So, bravo, man.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Laughter is that's the key to life, man. So thanks for filling it tonight.
No problem. Thanks for coming, man.
For real, that was awesome. When I found out you were coming on, I was like, fuck yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you on, Garth. Always a pleasure, man.
Yes.
Yeah, man. All right.